and gentlemen, that was a wonderful one from the comrade. You can see that even the heavens have approved of what our governor is doing. And the summary from what comrade said is this: God's will is happening in Edo on a Monday. And today is Monday, the 17th of November, 2025. And so, Mr. Governor, you are going to speak shortly. But in your usual charismatic disposition, you know that you only became governor by the grace of God. We will use one stone to kill two birds. Franchise will give his wonderful performance for 2 minutes as you dance, celebrating that even the heavens have given us air-conditioned weather. Can we give the Lord a round of applause? As I request every one of us to please be upstanding as we welcome the Executive Governor of Edo State, His Excellency, Senator Monday Okpebholo. Can we rejoice and celebrate? Come and see what the Lord has done in Edo. We are going to dance for 2 minutes before the speech. Shake your body. Okpebholo 2031. Hey. Who my kilo? Freddy Twa. Raise your hand to the glory of God. Kabakadu. Can you see the uncommon Senate President dancing with Comrade Oshobale?
That one person where they watch. I hope you are dancing.
Can you put your hands together for the God of
Yahweh, like Yahweh too.
My father, my leader, our former Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, distinguished Senator Godswill Okpebholo, GCON. His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Edo State, distinguished senators, many of my colleagues, minority leader, I'm seeing you, majority leader, I'm seeing you. Everyone, they are all present. I want to especially welcome my common people to Edo State. My very own, our father, Senator Adams Oshomole. The man that doesn't need paper and pen, he can demolish it anytime. Very proud of you. Welcome. The majority leader of the House of Rep, our own brother, Julius Ihawarim, our leader, Pastor Isayamu, the party chairman, Jared Tanebe, the Honorable Speaker of Edo State House of Assembly, the Secretary to the State Government of Edo State, Honorable Commissioners here present, special advisors, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome the Okpebholo Senate President. His movement is a blessing. We all remembered 5 days before election how he came to Edo, and nobody was aware. He was here. I came to know in the night, and I went to see him. He said, "Don't tell anybody I'm here." I said, "Which means I've won my election." He said, "You have already won." He said, "Since I came, I have sent people around the town to get the feelers of Edo people. I'm here, nobody will read you out." And you can see how they were manipulating, just the way they manipulated Emowa. Now, Mr. Senate President, I will not only welcome you to commission our agricultural equipment, which we promise our people is part of my five-point agenda. Part of my promise is being fulfilled today. But before I begin, Mr. Senate President, you are a powerful man in this country, number 3 man in this country. I want to passionately beg you, please, I want Obaseki back home to come and answer some questions. Mr. Senate President, Edo is not meant for 419 state. And nobody can use Edo to commit fraud internationally. Edo government has also been defrauded. So when the committee led by Adam Soshomole's report is out, I want to tell you with the facts I have on ground, which I will later show you, it's enough for you to bring him back to this country. I want to especially thank Mr. President for standing by us and at every point in time. Because Edo people know that I don't have money. I'm a poor man. If Mr. President was not doing what he's doing for us, I don't think the shining you are seeing in Edo today, Edo can shine.
Now governor when they walk, now he will follow.
One thing about this president is that he paid details to everything that is happening. He has severally asked me questions that I think, how did he know? So, Mr. Senate President, you are not only number 3 man in Nigeria, you are also a leader in the South. So anything that is wrong with the South is on you. Our Oba was humiliated. Emowa was registered by 3 organs: Edo State Government, the Royal Palace of Benin, and the Commission Monument Museum. They were involved. 2024, to be precise, October, after we had won election, everything dramatically changed. They threw the names out. They took 1 billion into Emowa Edo contributed 3.8 billion as against 4.1 billion from their own bill of quantity. I have the memo I will show you. So the money donated by international community, where are they? Because the one that is built here is built by Edo money. So nobody can use Edo government and Nigeria as a whole to defraud international community. This is a passionate appeal. I want to say God will bless you as you go back to your family. And I pray that the uncommon wisdom God has given you will continue to work with you and abide in you. Thank you.
Now you be the best. This kind of about to rescue by your way. Come and see it, come and see, come and see it, come and see, come and see what you open the come and see what you open the agriculture, come and see.
Thank you very much.
Education, come and see. Come and see what you do. Come and see what you do.
This is what Osho Baba will call eye mark. You are able to feel, you are able to see. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me at this point to invite a friend of Edo, the uncommon Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, distinguished Senator Godswill Obot Okpebholo, GCON, President of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Shall we applaud the outstanding and we welcome His Excellency to join us to celebrate.
Blessed, stop hating, okay? Stop hating. I just work hard. Hey, Najama, you are welcome.
Doesn't know why his premium is getting set.
Blessed, stop hating on the winners. Yes, we are back. Yeah, Papa Mose. Akomeza.
Come on, Senior President.
Come on, Senior President. Yeah, these people. All these guys are not going to kill us. I want that kind of job. Because they talk nonsense. But they follow. That is one of the best jobs to have. What are you hating on, Blessed? I can only hate when I understand this speech. It's not for you. The speech is not for you in the first place. That's why I say you are hating, man. It's not for you. Why you all understand waiting is not meant for you? Eh? Yeah? Those speeches are for uncommon people, not for everybody. You are not uncommon, Blessed. No, it's okay. Just dance to the rhythm. Just a smile as you dey see men of timbers and caliber. Ay! What a time. A time to be alive.
Can we all please resume our seats? Instead of dancing, everybody speak. So everybody just sit down. God is a God of wonders.
It's a God is the God of wonders.
Hallelujah. Amen.
These people are a joke. But now what we
My dear
deserve
brother.
now? Are we not hallelujah?
Distinguished Senator
Ah,
Monde Okpebholo, Executive Governor of Edo State. Let me also recognize your deputy who came from the Green Chambers just next to us. Like my brother said, distinguished Senator Adams Oshumole, he said he would not say upper or lower chambers, but we understand each other, don't we? We understand. Those, God said in the Holy Book that those who want to be the greatest should be prepared to be the servants. So we are not interested in who is upper or lower. We are just interested in being servants of the people. The former governor of Edo State. We started hearing much about Edo State when Adams Oshumole became the governor of this state. Before him, even to get to the airport was a problem. Even at that time, the governors that ruled this state, half a kilometer, 500 meters to their houses, were full of potholes during the rainy season until you came. But like me, you were very interested in ensuring that you left the door in good hands. So you went to the World Bank and IMF to go and bring a successor. And the successor came to come and tax the people of Edo State. And what was his
what
intention?
tax was that?
Profit making.
That's it.
So I will believe that your successor, I don't want to mention his name, because by now his name should be history, was able to practice giving you loan in one hand and bringing you contractor, and at the end, he takes away both the profit and the capital and everything. I'm a witness to the fact that Edo went down after you left office. You were very worried. And you prayed to God. And God answered your prayers. Mr. Speaker, I had visitations many times when I was Minister of Niger Delta from about almost 16 members of the House of Assembly of Edo State who were not sworn in. The governor before Okpebholo was working with only 10 members. I am telling you, for 4 years, one cannot say that was democracy. Either 14 or 16 members. How many of them? 14. He had 10.
But he refused to swear in 14. So the man was a danger to democracy itself. And those people roam around the streets of Abuja and Niger Delta for clear 4 years. You don't need to go far to give a record of that kind of governor. So I'm here in Edo today to honor your invitation to visit, together with your deputy. So I came with the galaxy of your colleagues from the red chambers. You have the deputy majority whip of the Senate, Senator Weboyin, who is here. You also have the deputy, of course, not deputy this time, the minority whip of the Senate, who actually I don't understand what he's doing there, because he's presently on paper as a member of the All Progressive Congress. He's a progressive. But because of how good he has been, the Senate has not bothered him at all. Distinguished Senator Ositangu. Congratulations. You have your colleagues from Edo, led by your leader, Comrade Governor, not retired, still very active and strong, Adams Oshimole. May God continue to strengthen you. You have the leader. No, you have distinguished senators from Edo itself, also Senator Neida Imaswen. Senator Imaswen was formerly of the Labour Party, but he noticed that at the national level, they were laboring in vain. And he said, I will no longer labor in vain. He came to me when I was presiding. He said, our SP, the Senate President, I'm tired of laboring. No matter how I try, my people are not feeling the impact at the national level. I want to join the Progressive Party so I can no longer labor in vain. Distinguished Senator Neida Imaswen is here now as a member of the APC. May God bless you. And when Okpebholo left office, we didn't know what was going to happen. But like magic that he has always done, he consulted with his leader, and in a very peaceful manner, he brought out another man of peace. Very distinguished Senator Igwe is here with us. He's here with us. And he's part and parcel of your team in Abuja. We are almost complete. Distinguished Senator Dike Plank from Plateau State. He had always loved you, you know that. And he didn't even know we were coming to Edo. He saw us at the airport and he dropped his baggage and jumped into the plane. He said, I must come and honor Okpebholo. God will also honor you. We have also very distinguished Senator Joel Onawapo, just from your next door here, from Delta State, who said he must also be here. And a host of others that we could not accommodate. They all said, I should bring you greetings from the red chambers of the National Assembly. And then from the House of Representatives, many of them are probably on their way, but we had to carry one amongst them. The great son of Edo, a former secretary to government, to my brother Adams Oshimole, and currently the leader of the House of Representatives, Professor Julius Ihombere. He's here with us. Prof, you're welcome to your seat. So my speaker that is running a complete house, not a fractured house, I recognize you and all the members of the House of Assembly in Edo. I recognize the peace. The chairman of the party and the deputy, who was actually my own in the National Assembly, and all the stakeholders, particularly the stakeholders led by my brother Ise Iyamu, and the great women of Edo State. You gave birth to all of us, and when the government is good, you are the ones that will know. The leaders of the churches in Edo State. When there is good governance, there is good harvest during communion and during Thanksgiving, during the bazaar. And when the government is bad, like what happened the other time, you will notice it also. Imagine the university, Ambrose Ali University, one of the earliest universities established in the South-South, getting only 41 million as subvention in a month. Not enough to even run the office of the Vice Chancellor, but they got that for almost 8 years. You came in, and under a few months, you rescued them by increasing the subvention from 41 million to 500 and something million. Will God not bless you? Will God not bless you? And I don't know, most of the things you are doing are things that God inspired me to do when I had the opportunity to be a governor. Imagine in my state, for about 12 to 13 years, University of Uyo did not graduate any medical student. Some of them were staying there and getting old. Some abandoned the university medical course, went to other universities to read other courses, came back there as lecturers and met their classmates still reading medicine. So when I became a governor, I did exactly what you are doing. I struggled, I provided amenity wards, I provided children's ward, I built infrastructures, I built over 10 blocks for them, 10 structures for them. I improved on everything, dialysis machine, all sorts. At the end, they came and they gave them accreditation for medicine. So they were able to graduate the first set of medical doctors almost 14 years after they were admitted into the university. Today I came to Edo, and one of the things they said here was the same thing. When you open the door to education, to children to be educated, you close the door of prison. Today, Edo is rising. Edo is progressing. Edo is shining. And God will continue to bless Edo people. When I met the titular leader of Edo, Oba Eredowa, Oba Otokwe, Oba Otokwe, it was almost Oba Awaibare. Even if I don't pronounce it well, he knows me very well. And he knows that I have the greatest love and respect for him. The Oba of Benin was the first major stakeholder of this state that you visited as governor-elect. That same day, your election was announced. We all followed you, and you went to pay respect to the Oba. May the Oba's reign be peaceful. May his reign be prosperous. May his reign unite the people of Edo. Your Excellency, I recognize all your stakeholders, and I want to say, of all the names they give to you, I believe they should call you a unifier. A unifier. For you to be able to work with your House of Assembly in unity, work with your deputy in unity, work with your leaders, past and present, in unity, you are a unifier. You are a great unifier. You cannot go wrong. Our prayers are with you. I remember that day in the Senate when you called me aside, and you said there is a rumor going on. I said, what is the rumor? They said, the rumor is that I'm drawing you close because I want you to be governor of Edo. I wouldn't say more than that. And I asked you a question. I said, so what is wrong with that? Since you have the love of the people of Edo, God can crown that your love by giving you the position to show them the love. Today, I can imagine, just like I brought the first set of flyovers to my state, is Okpebholo not doing the same? Imagine the schools that I'm hearing. I built over 6,000 classroom blocks within 2 years in office. I also declared free education. From primary school to secondary school level, paid NAPTIC fees, paid WAEC fees, NECO fees, and all that free. And then made sure that my people stop being houseboys and house girls in Edo here, and also in Lagos and other places. Today, if you are looking for an Akwa child, the person will name his price because he's now a graduate. If you want him to be a cook, you will say, no, that is a chef. And you have to pay him the chef's salary. That means you don't pay him anything less than he merits. Most of them are now managers. So we handed over that industry to other countries, the industry of houseboys and housegirls. I predict today that by the time you are through with the do as governor, that there will be no houseboy and there will be no house girl. You will leave behind an educated elite, educated people for Edo. I set up what I call WADEP, Women in Agriculture Development Program. And I assisted the women, some of them with sums of 250,000 at that time, free for them to buy fertilizers and farming implements. And today, you have given over 1 billion to market traders to improve their trade. And you are now calling us to come and see mechanized agricultural equipment. There is no country that can boast of greatness unless that country can feed itself. So what are you doing? You are providing the flyovers and the roads. You are building educational infrastructure. You are providing for students. You are providing for medical students. You are providing for the market women. You are providing for the less privileged. And today, you have looked into the most important thing, which is stomach infrastructure. I want to congratulate you. I'm happy I'm witnessing this. I'm here to see that, yes, indeed, Edo is shining. Edo is shining under the APC. And thank God you even helped Obaseki to leave the PDP, if you see there. Because the PDP is turned into shreds. So the PDP is turned into shreds. But he had turned Edo into shreds before he left. So if you are telling me to bring him back, give us the evidence. I'll get in touch with the Attorney General. The world has become a global village. I do know that no matter where he is, he cannot sleep well. If he knows that all the loans he took from the international community were squandered. Your Excellency, I'm only worried that you are the chairman of that committee. I hope the report that will come out will not finish it totally. But add the evidence and give us the receipt, and we'll work with it. So, Your Excellency, I've answered your question. I will tell our leader, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that you made only one request, that we should bring Obaseki back to answer to his stewardship. So now, to the Edo people, one good turn deserves another. Pray for him and support him. If he can do this in just 1 year, you can imagine what he will do in 2 years. You can imagine what he will do in 4 years. You can imagine what he will do in 8 years. So, Obaseki will return, he will answer, and you will recover the money and use it for your people. My prophet, he said, Yamu, that your song is always so beautiful. When we came, we were in Adam's house, and as soon as it was time, he shouted. When he heard the result of the election, that Okpebholo had become governor, he shouted, Yahweh, your name is Yahweh. You are the miracle.
You are the miracle.
This guy,
Your name is Yahweh.
now this is what they sample.
Yahweh. Your name is Yahweh. You are the miracle working God. Your name is
These are men of God, okay? Listen, these are men of God. It's well.
Yahweh. Your name is Yahweh. You are the miracle working God. Your name is
Blessed. Yeah, we did everywhere. You know, both is spiritual, more original election, everywhere. And these are real men of God. But I did it.
Yahweh. Your name is Yahweh. You are the miracle working God. Your name is
We are covered from the palace to the church. Everywhere.
I see what you
Just rock them. We did it there.
Shout for me. Yahweh. Your name is
Yahweh. You are the miracle working. Your name is
Yahweh. Eh?
Your people.
Gotta be in the spirit, blessed.
Your name is Yahweh. You are the miracle working. Your name is Yahweh.
Governorship maker.
Amen in spirit.
You are man.
Okpebholo.
Governor for all. You are man.
Okpebholo.
Governor for all. Make it shine. Your
Your name is Yahweh. You are the miracle working. Your name is Yahweh.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you,
On
thank you,
behalf
thank you,
of
thank
Mr.
you.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu,
Blessed. Don't be left out. Don't be left alone. Join us. Join the group.
for
It's
endorsing
our
him for
time.
2027.
It's our time.
Thank the whole of South Nigeria for endorsing Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu for 2027.
Yes, so.
The competition will be rife in terms of number of votes. Okpebholo, you said we are likely to get 3.5 million votes.
Yeah, inshallah.
Let's finish the
Promise.
registration and let's see what other states will bring.
Yes, so.
I don't know where I'm from. Bayelsa, it is now what? Asiwaju. I said Bayelsa.
Loco say, loco, please say we are not one.
Asiwaju.
Edo State.
Asiwaju.
Akwa Ibom.
Asiwaju.
Delta.
Asiwaju.
Prosper.
Asiwaju.
Nigeria.
Asiwaju.
Ah.
May God bless the good people of Edo State. May God bless the government of Okpebholo.
Yes, so.
You don't
Bless
talk
it.
too much. You do
I'm
too
left
much.
out of history.
And I like that. I want to copy you. I'm not going to talk to you.
No, make
Like
you
my
know.
brother Oshmole
What
said.
you will tell your
He
grandchildren.
is a man of few words.
That when the wave of changing,
Even after 35
taking
years,
shape,
he's still a man
what
of
you
few
will do?
words. So I want to join Oshmole to be a man of few words. Thank you for the honor of inviting the Senate to come and join in seeing what you have done in just 1 year. And please invite us again in your second year and subsequently. Our prayers are with you. Whatever will belong to Edo State, be rest assured, your colleagues will be there to back you up. Both in the green chambers, where you have a leader, and also in the red chambers, where you have your brother and your brothers and your leaders as leaders of the Senate.
Oshomole and Agbami
with
will soon
Edo
fight.
State.
Very
It is
soon
well
they
with
will
Okpebholo.
fight.
It is well with the good people of Edo State. And all those who will make use of this
Where
equipment
Oshomole want
see
to go for
progress.
his seat.
May Edo State be used
See how they will
as
do
a
it.
symbol
How they will
of
take
food
Facebook
security for
together.
Nigeria. May Edo State be used as a symbol of food security for Nigeria. May Nigeria begin to feed from Edo State. Agriculture will boom. This road that we used to have from here to Lagos, we shall buy cheap food products. Garri will be in abundance and affordable. Plantain will be in abundance and affordable. All food items will return to Nigeria through Edo State. And these are my prayers in Jesus' name. Can we shout a loud amen?
Amen. Amen.
Come here. This is Agbami, I swear that I'm not I read Google Nigeria. Amen.
Said he's done so much for me. Cannot tell it all. Even if I have 1,000 tongues, still would be enough. When you hear completely. What shall I render unto Jehovah? For he has done so very much.
So now pass again. Now I'm going to bring all these ungodly musicians. Eh? They could they bring the whiskey them portable.
Thank you.
Eh? Tiwa Savage. All these ungodly
Your
children. They're going to
Excellencies,
shake me ash. No.
very quickly,
We are
two announcements.
born again Christian, you know.
After the vote of thanks, only those in this canopy will proceed to join the Excellencies for the official commissioning and inspection. The rest of us should remain on our seats, please. We've been here since 10 a.m. and a lot of us have already inspected even before commissioning. So allow the Excellencies to have the space because of the cameras. And after the inspection, once the Senate President gets to this green carpet, it will now be the national anthem before departure. But permit me at this point to invite our son of Edo to, on behalf of the people of Edo State, move the vote of thanks to the Senate President and all on his entourage. The House Leader of the House of Representatives of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Honorable Julius Ihovere, who was former Secretary to the Government of Edo. Can you applaud him?
Your Excellency, the uncommon Senate President, a man of great vision, commitment, and integrity. Your Excellency, our son, our brother, the Governor of Edo State, distinguished Senator Monday Okpebholo, a man of vision, a man whose humility, patience, sense of mission, and sense of nation continues to amaze many. We thank you. Our political father, once a boss, always a boss. My boss, Eric Oshomole, distinguished senator representing Edo North. We greet you. The Speaker, my own brother from Roots, we salute you. Blessing Okpebholo, Right Honorable. Let me specially, with your permission, distinguished Senate President, I have left out my colleague in the National Assembly, the Green Chamber, the quiet but hardworking Deputy Governor, Dennis Idahosa. I recognize you. I want to specially thank the leaders of the party that have been here since 10 a.m., led by Emperor Jared Tenebe. I want to thank you all for your dedication, commitment to the party, and belief in democracy and democratization. May God continue to guide you all. I want to also acknowledge the very hardworking senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that came in the entourage of the Senate President and took me along with them. At a point, I was alone from the Green Chambers. But since I knew all of them, I felt at home. And since I knew the Senate President before he became governor of Akwa Ibom, I also felt at home. And my own Oga was there, so I knew I was safe in that aircraft. I welcome you all to Edo State, and thank you for coming. My brothers Neda and Senator Ubia, we're both at home. We thank all of you. Mr. Governor, I want to appreciate you for two things. And I felt I should say this because I may not have another time to say them. For those of us who were in this state, when pain, wickedness, hunger, disease, fear, darkness, bad belly was reigning. When you compare it to today, it is like from darkness to light.
from evil to progress and peace. You have done two things for us. One, you have restored trust, confidence in governance. This was not there before you came. People saw the government as a home for 419, Lagos with girls with long legs and short skirts. We're running government house and I do government. I thank you and your deputy and your team for restoring hope and confidence in government and governance. Second, and this is more important probably, you have restored hope in leadership. Before now, I couldn't come here. If I came into Benin that very day, I took off because you were not sure of anything. We couldn't come near Protea because it was where the goons and the gangs were housed. Today, I can come into Edo like many of my colleagues. We now believe there is a leader who has a sense of nation, who is calm, calculated, focused, committed, and very dedicated to transforming this state for peace, progress, and stability. We thank you for that. Like the Senate President said, you don't talk too much. But your actions are there. So on this note, sir, let me thank Oga, distinguished Senator or Common Senator, for coming to Edo to celebrate once again with us. Let me thank the other senators that have come with the Senate President to commission this wonderful equipment, which we are seeing in Edo for the first time probably. We thank the senators for coming. We also want to thank all those who came from outside Edo, but more importantly, our people all over the place and those who have come from their various communities and constituencies for coming to witness this occasion. We thank you. May God continue to remain with you all. May God guide you to your homes. And may peace and progress continue to abide with you. Thank you. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Julius Ihonvere. With this, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the historic commissioning. Please, only the excellencies and top government functionaries will follow the Senate President. The rest of us should please.
If you see us, they argue for on Dr. Damage's have your say at 90 Minutes Africa, or pretty much every other platform you go, I did different from the way these leaders are sounding right now. So yeah, you cannot separate the people from their leaders. You can't hear me. Why you not hear me now? I say you said that. Can you hear me now? Hey, can you hear me now? If you can hear me, praise the Lord. Give me a sign if you can hear me. Okay, so you said you cannot believe what you are hearing from your leaders, right? And I say what you are hearing from these leaders and what you they hear from us, we will speak on various platforms. When would they debate, argue, make points? Is it different from what these leaders are saying, or you are hearing from these leaders? So we are the leaders are the product of the people. You cannot separate the leader from the people. So they are not sounding different from the way we argue or talk about issues. then just like us, we blame each other, we curse each other, and we sing praises of each other. Isn't that what they just did?
We commission this equipment in the name of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit.
Oh yeah, the full speed.
With you all, may God guide you to your homes.
Commission this agricultural equipment to take care of stomach infrastructure, just like the governor is taking care of the roads, the schools, of course, the social amenities, the markets, and all other major sectors of the economy in Edo. We thank God for this. We commission this equipment in the name of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit.
Amen. So the praise goes to the governor and
I go
God.
Calabar.
The inspection of facilities are on. Please, the rest of us should remain seated.
So bless it.
Remain
Just
seated.
sit and enjoy. Enjoy your people. Bless it. Down. Help yourself.
On all your machines.
Yes. By rolling bowl
And on the
like
lights.
enjoy.
Special advisor to the governor on health, Dr. Andrew,
Huh?
the greatest of them all. Bless you, sir. Thank you, sir.
You say na during your pastor now.
I go Calabar.
MOU the
I see
design.
gospel
The most
and
You know it's the
it has
design.
been on. I go rock up
Dr. Paddy
for
Yamo,
I call Oresi.
Because I be MOU. Because
She's evil.
Chief of Temperature, Alain Alile, Capacity Eco School.
She's evil. Evil. Evil.
when Obaseki, during Obaseki time, we just hear say they sign MOU. MOU now with a year. And you go see people wear suits. Go come on air. They try to deceive us with English. What the MOU be and what it no be. See? When you vote a man who don't understand English, he don't speak too much. He will just show you action, which is what we need. When you are spending the people's money, we want to see the physical evidence, not the MOU. God don't even know the meaning of MOU. And we are fine with that. So this is what you get when you put a man who does not speak English in office. We just say action. Just like your president, Bola Tinubu, they say an old man. He's good. You don't get time today. Doesn't have too much time today. Explain. He will just hit the ground running. you go just dey feel in policy. You go dey feel out. You don't need to talk. You go feel out. Good or bad, or you feel it. So this is what it means to have a governor who cannot speak English. He will show you action. And this is exactly what we want to see. No grammar on national TV explaining what a MOU is or means or what's not. So, blessed. See why we are winning and why we will continue to win. I tried to tell Locopi yesterday with that. And you will see people we are not doing anything, we are not doing anything. Who will be we? You have to be very, be specific. People are doing something. Either you don't like what they are doing, or you are not aware that people are doing something. We are busy planning and working and projecting how we are going to win. And it's important for us to win, both in words, in rhetorics, in debates, and in action. As you are seeing what is happening right now. While the other people are busy insulting us, that we are not civilized, we are uncut, we don't know how to speak English, and so whether you like it or not, people are doing something. And by the time you know that people are doing something, it'll be too late. Now, when they announce results, who win? You feel out. That time you know that oh shit, we are doing something. So we're doing something. Just like now, even at the national level, people, APC are busy converting people here and there from governor to minister to this and that, while the opposition party are just busy getting carried away by VDM and jollof rice, getting carried away by Christian genocide and whatnot. And by the time we know, the result will be announced again in 2027. And you go say, oh, you did not, yes, you did not do anything. People are doing something. You don't just like what they are doing. So you are seeing action, action, action. Not MOU. I mean UMO. So blessed, don't feel sorry for your leaders, okay? Or be ashamed of your leaders. Be ashamed of yourself, inclusive, because you are part and parcel of the building block of our leaders. It is your action and your inaction that produce our leaders. So do something. If not, your grandchildren will come and be ashamed of you. They won't understand your position. They will join you and your generation together. Finish now. So it's up to you. This national anthem, say, I never even. It's just I know how to sing them. Anyway, so our governor, who has been killing it with action. Listen to
criminality. He also bought recently about 400 motorcycles to assess roads and nooks and crannies where vehicular movement will be a little bit difficult. He has recovered some of the roads that were hitherto abandoned, for which signboards were erected on them saying, "We are sorry, this is federal government road, blah, blah, blah. We are unable to fix them because it's federal government." Now that,
so he's taking on federal government roads?
Of course. He's doing them based on agreement with the Minister for Works and Housing, Engineer Devu Mahi. But
he talking for during campaign now that he will do federal government road with 10,000, and we tell federal government is 200,000, and we pay. And my brother, like comrade, went crazy. Who can corruption with that? How you guys go to tell you say he go do something for 10,000 and he go charge 200,000? I will not. It's like these motherfuckers. I will never see understand how this game they work. Just like the man go give Tinubu 3.5 million votes, and people went crazy and don't vote now 2 million. That's not the point. That's not the point. The point is that he's going to work 110% to give every vote, if possible, of those states to the man. Regardless the numbers, even though now 2,000 or 10 million. It's as simple as that. The same thing. I will do federal government road. I say at 10,000, I will charge federal government 20 million. But that's just to tell you that it's not longer an excuse. It's no longer acceptable to say, oh, this is a federal government road. I go do it and they're not going to pay me. No, do it and charge them. Right? Of course, wherever you change, the federal governments are not stupid. They will negotiate. They will negotiate. At the end of the day, even if charge, they don't make profit. The most importantly, the citizen are no longer subjected to unnecessary debt, vehicle damage, and what have you. That's the whole point of governance. But it just it behooves me, how they say they be comrade and professors, but they just can't use their common sense to see this is a game. When you are campaigning, it's a competition.
Of course, you know the pattern. If you fix those roads, you can claim refund from the federal government. But to leave them would be to be punishing the people consistently, even when we know that federal government is not coming to apply those roads. Those roads are meant for Edo people.
See, I know. This is my first time listening to this guy, listening to this debate. See, the way I think it's just a common sense. I don't just understand how people. Well, it's good. That's one reason we are going to win.
Yeah, it's the heartbeat. That's the
slogan.
The slogan of Edo State, the heartbeat of the nation, and it's almost like a transit, a place where a lot of it's a transit state where a lot of roads converge, and it is important that the road network is viable within the city. But I noticed you said something. You said security was a concern in the tail end of the Obaseki administration. Some people would say security is still a major concern, even within the Okpebholo administration, with the kidnap of some people in certain areas of the state. So security is an ongoing concern.
If you look at the trajectory and based on our own monitoring, you see that even the kidnapping you're talking about has dropped. And the governor's action, you can't eliminate it completely. It's an ongoing intervention that you have to be putting in place, because the kidnapper or the criminals will always want to think ahead of you. When you are bringing one issue, they are coming out from the other end, But your ability to, to intervene and provide measures that will mitigate, the currency of it is what matters. And I give you a typical example. Like in Edo Central, we used to observe almost on a daily basis kidnapping. So the government had to meet with the military and pleaded that they should get some of their men to be part of the police formation. And so there is a command structure that has been set up in Uromi area. The governor provided accommodation and mobility vehicles and what have you. And so today you see that there is some level of stability and sanity in the Edo Central part of it. The Edo North, particularly in my village, only 2 weeks ago, the police deployed about 100 police personnel to that area because it's a border town. That also means that a lot of people come to commit crimes and they run back to the neighboring Kogi state. So there's a lot of attention being given to that, and it's yielding results. In Edo South, the Benin, nightlife has returned. You can say that because when we came on board, almost every day they were killing 5, 6 people, 10 people, 9 people, and the governor asked, they are court members, rival courts, attacking themselves, killing themselves, and whatever. That was why he had to go to the assembly to tinker with the law and ensure that there is punitive measures are put in place.
One of the things I find really ridiculous with our, federal arrangement is that there's been a serious clamor for state policing. And we know that right now all police structures belong to the federal government. Yet, when it is that something happens in Edo State or any other state and, the criminals run out of the state, it would seem that the policemen under that command are hampered. and cannot seem to pursue beyond the borders,
borders
even though they are federal policemen. They shouldn't be hampered by any border. Is it something that we've thought of to challenge, to say, look, if these people, if they were state police officers, some people will say we understand that, but these are federal police officers. yes, they're under a state command, but they have federal jurisdiction.
Well, there is some level of collaboration. It is not as simplistic as letting people escape to the other state and saying that they will stop chasing them or seeking ways to arresting those persons. I think what is at issue is the fact that if you have a functional police system, when criminals are exiting or running away from one state to another, the responsibility will be to inform the sister state about what has happened. And we've had scenarios where some kidnappers were caught in Kogi State. Originally, they operated within Igara area of Akoko Edo, and because the police gave a chase and collaborated by the Kogi State Police, they were able to apprehend them. It does happen that way. At times, we overlook some of these issues. People are talking about state police, state police, state police. Well, given the mentality of our orientation, given the fact that there's so much of power vested in governors of state, people are afraid that when they have opportunity to control state police, that they will use it against their political opponents and all that. So in creating a state police, we must deliberately mobilize and conscientize the citizenry to ensure that they are awake to their responsibility. Because I remember the Edo State Security Corps under Godwin Obaseki, when the elections were coming, you remember, he said anybody who arrests any of his members who have been found wanting, that Nigeria will burn. And he said his tigers and hyenas and lions and all of that. Yes, he said that. And that Nigeria will burn.
It's interesting.
Prior to the election. But we thank God that Nigeria didn't burn and Edo State didn't burn. The humility of Monday Okpebholo as a governor and the fact that he's very connected to the grassroots, if you give him a state police, I can tell you that he won't abuse that.
Well, we'll see whether that is eventually approved. I mean, state policing. But the point I was trying to make is that these are still federal police officers. I wonder why it is that they feel hampered, chasing, criminals beyond a state border.
Yeah,
but the PDP, which is in opposition in your state, have been reacting to 1 year of Senator Monday Okpebholo. They say that the party that his administration or his 1 year has been marked by drift, decline, policy paralysis, and collapse of governance structures. They also say that his administration is mismanaging the state resources, adding that contracts are awarded with complimentary cards in the absence of a tenders board in the last 1 year, which speaks to process. So it is possible that the governor is doing something, but clearly it doesn't seem that due process or transparency is being followed.
Mark, let me quickly say this, that the PDP you are talking about is a faction of the PDP who are trying to still remain relevant and who want their voice to be heard. But even if it were to be a single individual raising those posters, we'll have a response to them. First, there's a tenders board in place. There's procurement office in place.
Is it functional?
Very functional. And it will shock you that the report of our transition committee that we got, their own chairman of the procurement board wrote in his report that their contracts were largely not following due process. That is the report of our transition committee where we interface with government. The report they gave us, it was written in black and white there. So that is the same party that has the guts to be raising concerns. No problem. They said there is policy paralysis, but we are working and they are saying it. The other day they said, why are we building flyover? That we should go and fix roads. And I asked, I said, if you had fixed the roads as you claim that you are done, which roads are we going to be fixing? They say, oh, why are you putting flyover in Adesuwa junction? Why not go and fix GRA roads? Oh, you knew that GRA roads were budgeted 12 months ago and you couldn't fix them, and now you are telling us to go and fix them. So it's a matter of choice. We are intervening in some critical infrastructure to the point that it will impact on mobility across the state. We are not going to be distracted or bogged down by the rantings of PDP renegades who are largely factionalized. There's Legacy Group, there's Obaseki Group, there's also Godalo's Group, and all of that. So which one are we going to be addressing? But the point must be made that there's policy drift. The 5,000 casual workers, the casual teachers that they employed, they recruited to take care of schools that they were talking about Edo Best. We have since, absorbed them into Edo Civil Service, 5,000 teachers. We have since employed over 1,000 into the Edo Civil Service that they almost crippled because they made use of consultants in all their years in office. 41 agencies were created for those consultants. And it's now that we're unpacking them, trying to, return back to the state civil service. Promotions were stagnated. People were not able to get promotion. In-service training was not there and all of that. But they are very good in rhetoric. They are very good in propaganda. No problem. This governor doesn't talk too much. It tells you, let us ask for people to see. If you say 5,000 is not a huge figure, they were holding salaries of staff of Ambrose Ali University 15 months. We have since cleared them. They were paying Ambrose Ali University 41 million naira subvention every month. We have increased that to 500 million. And you are telling me, which one is policy drift now? They didn't run Ambrose Ali University with a governing council. We have since done that, and we put Dan Obi as chairman of council. We have since given them a substantive vice chancellor, Professor Elizabeth, who is now presiding over the university. The one at Uzari, 1 naira, and I repeat, I say it, 1 naira from government for 8 years never got into that university. Edo State University, Uzari. And now we are giving them 250 million naira subvention, every month. So when they talk, we just laugh at their follies because it is easy for you to just run commentaries, but we welcome constructive criticism because it will help us to chart a roadmap to help Edo, because if Edo is better for it today, it is going to be for even the PDP people who are making all the noises and some other persons.
Let's go to Lagos. I know my colleague Ayo has questions for you.
Thank you, Malwe. Mr. Fegba, it's interesting that we are even talking about, some of these issues. If you don't mind, I'd want to take you away a little from Edo State. But before that, I have always had questions around continuity, particularly in situations where it's the same political party that is succeeding each other. It's a candidate from the same political party that is succeeding each other. Well, that's not the case in Edo State, even though it could have been the case, going by what we know in history. Now, one of the projects, and I think you have spoken a little about it, is this whole museum issue and all. How the real issue for me is not just the back and forth, it's the sustainability of any project. I always talk about that because at the end of the day, what is important is that everyone, the people of Edo State in particular, can hold on to this and say, this is our own. In terms of sustainability, would you say that the museum issue, MOA on one hand, the Royal Museum on another, would you say that they are two different issues or they are the same issue that need to be harmonized?
Thank you very much. I think a lot of people are too much in a hurry to actually, listen to us to know the story behind MOA. MOA started as a legacy restoration trust platform, and thereafter it became Edo Museum of West African Arts. Then later they changed it to Museum of West African Arts. In all of this, Edo State government, taxpayers' money, was invested in Edo Museum of West African Arts as a state government platform. They took memos to the ESCO, they debated it, they were approved, and all the withdrawals, payment for MOA, or MOA as the case may be, were actually from the state purse. The quantity surveyor gave a rundown of how much it will cost to erect the pavilion of the museum. And it stood at 4.1 billion in their records, the one we have. And out of that 4.1 billion, Edo State government paid 3.8 billion, with a shortfall of 300 million naira to balance. Now, if Edo State invested 3.0 billion in a museum, it should naturally be the property of the state and not anybody. But 8 days to their exit from power, they changed the name, removed E, which stands for Edo, and took it to Museum of West African Arts, and automatically overnight set up a trustees, headed by one Philip Ihianacho, who happened to be a staff of Obaseki's Afri-Invest company, representing them in London. Then another person, Barrister Chioke, who is the MD of Afri-Invest in Lagos, was also a member, and 2 other persons, one Elizabeth and one other person. So the point is, you cannot just surreptitiously, overnight, change the nomenclature of a particular project, and claim ownership by way of saying it is not a trustee. That means it's a not-for-profit organization. It is now run by trustees elected solely by you, and all that. So the question we are asking are in multiple folds. At the Corporate Affairs Commission, for example, what was the name that they registered? It was Edo Museum of West African Arts, not even as a trustees. That's the curious thing about that. So because they were too much in a hurry to, surreptitiously change some of these things, they left so many unanswered questions, for which we now have information, we have documents to show all of this. And so our position is that at Benin, when they were starting, Obaseki promised the Oba of Benin that they are in consultation with Benin Dialogue Group in Netherlands, where he had a meeting with them, that we were going to gift the Oba of Benin a museum that will be built in 3 years, starting from 2018 to 2021. And so the Oba was happy as a birthday gift, and that was a period that artifacts were being returned. German government returned 1,200 artifacts. Netherlands returned 119 artifacts, and so many other countries, Sweden, Norway, UK. So the understanding will be that if you are gifting the Oba of Benin a museum of that nature, it will be good for him to also use that platform to house all of these artifacts. But you never did that. You were carrying along Oba of Benin as soon as artifacts were coming, because these artifacts were also followed by some monetary assistance to help build a museum that will house those artifacts. You change the whole nomenclature, you change the whole pattern, and you now want to claim ownership. We asked during our asset verification exercise, for which I was a member, we asked the Philippine, why did you remove Edo? Because when you talk about Edo, what comes to your mind is culture. It's a community of people who are very culturally conscious and whose selling point is cultural heritage. So you cannot be talking about building a museum for Benin Kingdom without the kingdom, whether you like it or not, except you are being clever by half, trying to use a particular promise to deliver a separate end. So we have since discovered all of that. Those who contributed money, foreign donors and all of that, they should be asking questions from those who are the promoters of this MOA. That where is our money? Because the state government funded and paid almost 95% of that project by virtue of the records that we have and by virtue of their own claims via their quantity surveillance submissions at ESCO.
Well, Mr.
What we are saying is that
ask you, if you can
you must straighten out the transactions and the underhand dealings concerning a MOA, and Legacy Trust Fund before you begin to talk about issue of operation. And look, this is the curious thing about what they did on Sunday when they did a preview. The Edo State is the highest donor by virtue of 3.8 billion in their records because they have a plaque of what everybody contributed. Now, you invited your foreign donors that you were doing a preview on Sunday, and you refused to, that was on the 8th, yeah, on the 8th of November, and you refused to invite the chief donor, so to speak, the chief contributor to that particular event on that Sunday. You had informed us that you were going to open that place on Monday, which is on Monday, which is no, on Tuesday 11th. Then on Sunday, you did a preview without informing us. The governor was away to Auchi to attend the Thanksgiving service and harvest of particular Catholic church. And when he put on his phone later, he's asking litany of phone calls and all that. Because I personally also called him when I had this. And he said it was not, nobody even briefed him about preview, but he's aware that they will be commissioning on the 11th. So that was what happened. And because of frayed nerves, tempers were high.
Okay,
we had to,
Mr. Figwa, my sincere apologies. So the question that I asked, and I thank you very much for the background and all, and I'm almost certain that the Obaseki team would probably also have their own position. One of the things that we had heard from the Obaseki team was that MOA is different from the Royal Museum, so maybe you want to speak to that. The question that I asked is, based on that, just a second, based on that position that we heard on the same program, the question that I'm asking is there a room for harmonizing both? So we have all of these issues, could be West African, could be global, whatever, so that there is just one, and everyone, you know, aligns with it. The second question you may want to ask is, since, as you said, the money used to put this up, you know, belongs to Edo State, is there a plan for a probe by the Edo State government?
Yes, let me quickly answer this one. There's a plan for probe. The proper investigation into that will be done based on what we now have in our hands, the documents we now have. People are going to be asked questions. They have to answer questions, very serious questions with issue of financial profligacy and malfeasance. And the issue of whether harmonized or no harmonized does not arise, because Edo Museum of West African Arts is ab initio the property of Edo State government. Edo State government will take full charge of Edo Museum of West African Arts because the taxpayers' money was used to build that particular place, and the donor agencies, the countries that have contributed $1, $2, $2, $10, up to over $100, will now be asking questions on those who surreptitiously overnight changed the name from Edo Museum of West African Arts to Museum of West African Arts. Where have you spent our money? And this will also involve getting Interpol on board, getting EFCC, getting everybody. They must probe into it. And the governor has initially set up a committee headed by Senator Comrade Adams Oshomole that will preside over the initial backgrounding of this investigation before we hand over properly to EFCC and other, anti-corruption agencies.
Isn't that preemptive, though? Because some people will say that you have already reached a decision. The explanation that they gave was that there are two separate, identities here. You're talking about MOA and also the British, beg your pardon, the Benin Royal Museum. They are two separate entities that, yes, indeed, they had initially pledged to build the Oba of Benin museum, but that MOA came up because the donors had a different idea for what they wanted to do with their money.
No, it's very simplistic. I'm not talking about Benin Royal Museum now. I am talking about Edo Museum of West African Arts, MOA, and Museum of West African Arts. You understand?
One has transited to become the other.
MOA was predominantly funded by Edo taxpayers' money. Then overnight before they left, that was on the 8th of November, 2024, that's 3 days before they left, they changed that name to MOA, Museum of West African Arts. But as smart as they tried to be, they couldn't change the papers.
You say it's funded by Edo taxpayers' money.
Yes.
But they contest that, because if you say that it is the people of Edo who can, then where do we situate the funding?
That is the question that the investigators will be asking. Because I've told you, the submissions from their quantity surveyor of how much it would take to build the entire pavilion was 4.1 billion. It's there in black and white. We have it. We have communications, we have all the memos submitted and this thing. Then Edo, out of that money, paid 3.8 billion. And the tranches are also spelled out. 800 million, 1 billion, 600 million, this, based on the progress of that pavilion.
But it has been built. It's
been built. So it has to be our property.
So what exactly is the bone of contention?
That is the question. We are not contending it. We always say that hand over to Edo state government what belongs to Edo people. Simple. But instead of converting it overnight to yourselves, you appoint your staff from everywhere. How did you choose people who are the trustees? You single-handedly did that without even consulting the state government that funded 95% of that project. So those are the questions we'll be asking them. So as far as we are concerned, we are not battling anything, but the donors who have contributed so much should be asking Obaseki, Hianacho, and others, where is our money? Because on records, this is what obtains.
Well, clearly, this controversy is yet to be put to bed. So we will see just how...
There's no controversy. It's just a matter of putting the records straight.
That's what I'm saying.
Know that where you want to...
So while we wait for records to be straight, it remains controversial. So we'll wait and see how things are eventually straightened out, particularly on this matter, and how the people of Edo State get their voices heard in terms of how their governor has performed in his first 1 year in office. We have to thank you for coming on the program this morning. Mr. Kasim Afebwa is the Commissioner for Information in Edo State. And that's where we lay to bed Monday's edition of Sunrise Daily. Thank you so much for being a part of today's program. I'm Maokbe Ogun Yusuf.
It's interesting that you laid emphasis on the fact that today is Monday. And we just finished talking about it Monday. Anyway, I'm Ayo Makinde. Enjoy the rest of your day.
That's why I say in our time. So it's not a coincidence that his name is Monday. Nah, just the time. I don't know. There's new developments. I don't know if I should. Let me see. Regarding Obi, Amechi, and the rest of them being announced like this. Maybe I hear within this.
We've just witnessed the unveiling. If you have any question or clarification, please go ahead and ask.
Yeah, I have two questions for you. One is, by our findings, we know that this place used to be Atiku's presidential campaign office. So, how come you are using this as the national secretariat of the ADC? Considering the fact that there have insinuations that the presidential tickets have already been considered to Atiku. That's one. I'll ask you to let the last question.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a very good question. It's true, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar used to be the tenant of this building, right? He used to be the tenant of this building, which he used for his presidential campaign. But his tenancy has lapsed. Now the African Democratic Congress is the tenant of this building. Do I need to repeat that? So this building at no time did it belong to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. He leased it for the purpose of his campaign, and that lease has ceased, and now the tenancy is occupied by the African Democratic Congress.
Okay, okay.
Okay, sir. We need a so the point I'm making is that, sorry, to address conclusively what I was saying, this is not an indication of anything, because you are insinuating that probably this is the direction the party is going. This has nothing to do with it. Atiku has nothing to do with our movement here. This is solely an ADC decision. And that's why you see potential presidential candidates, other potential presidential candidates are also here today for the unveiling. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Yeah, unlike some other parties that are having between Nigeria and Peso, internal and internal progress, yours appears to be enjoying relative peace. But we need an update on activities in states. Because after the last encounter that would have roughly spread across the states. Just discovered that things are being normalized. So that give us an update what is transparency.
Well, thank you very much. Like you said, we are glad that, it's political party we are running, and in every political party you have contending interests. But we are glad that we have kept disagreements and conflicts within our party relatively low. It doesn't mean others will not come up because, like I said, it's a political party. But the most important thing is that the national headquarters of this party, under the chairman of David Mark, has made it clear that the party will be fair to everyone concerned. And as long as there is fairness and justice, if you look at those other parties we are talking about, at the root of what we call their crisis is injustice and lack of fairness to party members and other leaders. So we as ADC, like the chairman said today, it's not going to be business as usual. And we believe that as long as we continue to play by those principles that have brought us here into the coalition, we will continue, even when problems arise, we can deal with them. For example, the chairman promised all the legacy chairmen across the country that nobody is going to throw them away. And you can see that we have kept our words and they are still there. So if other issues come up, we will deal with it. But so far, so good. Many states have they are setting up their transition interim committee because our Congress will come up in February. So they are setting up transition committee that will manage the affairs of the party for the period of 90 days, pending the time of the congresses. But very soon you will see membership registration and validation across the country in the coming days. Thank you.
Okay, yes, Chairman, National Public Secretary. My name is Secretary Brian from East Central Television. The expectation after the unveiling of this headquarters is probably at the subnational level we get to see the same thing. So my question is, what do we expect in terms of next steps after this?
Well, like I said, by next week, inshallah, we will commence membership registration and validation across the country. We are aware that time is not on our side. A lot of things need to be done, even by INEC timetable. There are some things that we need to do. Congresses will need to happen. Our non-elective convention is coming up. But all these have to be preceded by membership registration across the country. So as from next week, you will see this happening. Even before the unveiling today, if you pay attention, you notice that in many states there have been unveiling of the party secretariats and unveiling of the party in different states across the country. I mean, my state, Kwara, we did our own, very colorful, and many other states have done, and many will still do.
All right, Francis Saliba from Punch Newspaper. Sir, following what we witnessed in Ibadan, with the expulsion of a wiki and the rest, there are speculations making the round in the last 2 days that Atiku Abubakar might likely make his way back to the PDP. We don't know what your reaction is to this.
We don't have any information to that effect.
But in case of eventuality,
I will not speculate.
Hello, sir. Go ahead. I could recall that at one of the meeting, the last next meeting of the party, there was a pronouncement that those who have not left their erstwhile parties should formally resign so that they can eventually be captured as members of the ADC. Is there a deadline to that?
I mean, there were no deadlines, but there were milestones that on which those were hanged. For example, you saw Malam Nasir El-Rufai here today. The other person was Excellency Peter Obi, whom we gave concession up till the end of the Anambra election. Now, the Anambra election is done, so we expect that everybody will now come back together fully. But the position of any of these leaders you've mentioned have not changed from their original position that they are part of the coalition and part of the ADC. So they have not told us anything to the contrary.
But ADC performance wasn't very quite impressive. Wasn't impressive. Is it that the party didn't support the candidate very well, or that the party presented a popular candidate? Why that level of fallout at the state level? Whereas at the national, you are seen as a very viable opposition.
Well, I mean, there are two ways to look at it. Number one is Anambra is a peculiar state. You'll agree with me that not even the ruling party has managed to take Anambra from ABGA. Not PDP, not APC. So it's nothing particularly calamitous that we did not win the Anambra election. That is number one. Number two, most of the process that led to this, without denying our candidate, most of the process that led to the election had been concluded before the coalition came on board. So there are a lot of things that we just have to allow to play themselves out. But like I said repeatedly, that those elections should not be a measure of where ADC stands now or where we could. Well, I don't think the question is whether we are more prepared than ADC, than APC. I don't think that is the concern of Nigerians. I think the concern is whether ADC represents an alternative that they desire. Because one thing that is the consensus today is that Nigerians don't want this APC to continue. We can travel from here to Maiduguri, from Maiduguri to Abeokuta, and Abeokuta to Anambra. The consensus appears to be that they don't want this APC to continue. Now the question is whether we, as an opposition party, will be able to convince them that we represent the alternative. And the responsibility that we have, which we recognize, is that, especially young people, how do we help them to overcome their cynicism and see ADC as an alternative? And that is why we say in everything we do, you had the chairman today, is not going to be business as usual. If you take time to read our anthem, I don't think any political party in this country had sat down to write an anthem that will guide its operating philosophy. We didn't just write an anthem, we put it out there in the public. Passerby can see it. And in the coming days, we are going to release our ethical principles and philosophy. That if you are a leader or
possible, even when it is most difficult. It is within this atmosphere of stability that we welcome a new chapter in the political life of Kogi State. Today, at this formal reception, His Excellency former Governor Idris Wada joins the All Progressive Congress along with other distinguished leaders and supporters. This decision is not a small one. It is an alignment with a broader national vision. It is a recognition that Nigeria needs large and stable platforms to confront the challenge before us. Your Excellency Governor Idris Wada, as we welcome you and other distinguished Nigerians to the APC, I must share that we receive you as an elder, as a statesman, and as a partner in the task of building a stronger Kogi and a stronger Nigeria. This moment, don Allah ku yi hakuri mana, ku yi hakuri mana, ku yi hakuri mana, ku yi hakuri mana. Listen. What is this? This is talking. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this moment also reflects the leadership of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCR. He promised to build a political home that brings together progressive minds from across the country. He promised to make the APC a political party where competence is valued and where inclusion is not an empty phrase. He promised to make the APC a compliance of progressives. Today that promise is unfolding before our eyes. His leadership has inspired faith. His commitment to national unity has restored confidence in the political process. Nigerians from across the divides are choosing to work with him because they see sincerity and depth in his vision. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, what is happening in Kogi today It's not the collapse of one structure into another. It is not a victory of one ego over another. What we are witnessing is a margin of convictions. It is a recognition that Nigeria requires a broad coalition of patriots who are looking beyond all quarrels and embrace a collective future. The APC remains the home of all who seek progress. We must rise above bitterness and forge a new national spirit. To our new members, I say welcome. You have joined a family that thrives on service. You have joined a platform that values your experience. We shall deepen peace in Kogi State. We shall expand development in Kogi State. We shall uphold the promise of a renewed Nigeria. Because you have shown that when leaders choose peace, the people reap progress. The APC does not take your trust for granted. May God bless Kogi State. May God bless the All Progressives Congress. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome back from the live telecast. We'll now continue with our regular programs.
So where will they go from here now? There are many developing stories. PDP, APC, NIPP. Now only Obi will know the year is move. But he's making news. Which news should we go to? All of them sound like very important news, be all of them. So I know I'm not really there's no news yet. Maybe till later in the day because this PDP issue is not something of a so who goes there? Tell me which news where should we go from Benin? Can't kidnap people for school guys again. Minister of Defense Bello Matawale has condemned in strong terms the late night attack by bandits instead of using the word terrorists And Government Girls Comprehensive Senior Secondary School, GGCSS, Mega, in the Zulu Empire of Kebbi State. The attack, which occurred in Danko Wasagu local government area, led to the killing of the school vice principal, Malam Hassan Yakubu Makuku, and the adoption of several students. Describing the assault as unacceptable, Matawale said the federal government would not relent until the kidnapped students are safely rescued. According to the minister, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has directed security agencies to swing into immediate action to facilitate the safety release of the adopted students. The government led by President Bola Tinubu has directed that the state security apparatus swing into immediate action to ensure the adopted students are released unharmed, he said. Matawale stressed the need for all security formation to work jointly and urgently, noting that coordinated operations were essential for both rescue effort and the pursuit of the attackers. I don't know if this is let's see, when was this published? Yes, November 17th. So yeah, Patos developments. This year, Edumedu Obilo. This year, Edumedu Obilo. I don't know why you become a. So, what you want here for Obilo now?
I've looked at your CV. You went to the Defense Academy. You went to the National Defense College. I'm asking why all these institutions? Is the military an intellectual institution?
Well, the Nigerian Defense Academy is where you have the cadet training to be trained as an officer, and as a leader, junior leader, per se. That's Nigerian Defense Academy. Raw civilian going to the military academy to learn the basic military tactics, all those things that have to do with military training. Then as a junior leader, second lieutenant, lieutenant and the rest.
So what are you taught there? Are there subjects you learn?
Oh, it's a military subject now.
Is it like a university?
It's like, the academic aspect is university. Then the military aspect is for military training. So you do two things there in Nigerian Defense Academy. The academic aspect will be a graduate after 5 years. Then the military aspect. So you do the two pari passu.
So you have books you read.
Oh, of course.
You have lecturers.
Yes, you are trained to be a leader. So you must be vast in a lot of things.
You carry out research.
You have lecturers from the university who come and deliver lecture, give you assignment, give you work to go and do research work and the rest. So it's not where you go and rest. That's why a lot of people fall out.
People fall out?
Of course, they couldn't cope. They fall out and go back to their village. Then Nigerian Defense College. This is where now you train as a senior leader. Nigerian Defense Academy is junior leader. That one you are not trained as a senior leader, strategic leader. You know all what is happening in the government, how the government is being run. Government provides security and welfare to the people. So you learn basically of everything that is strategic to the country. And at the end of the day, you are sent to countries all over the world to understand what a first world country is doing well, what make them to be first world? Then go to a third world country too, to know why a third world is not, what is it not doing well that is not making to be third world. So you learn from both, you learn a lot of ideology, the communist ideology, the capitalist ideology, a lot in the defense college, so that you are vast, you are becoming a true senior leader.
So the military officer is an intellectual.
Yes, it's vast in many things.
Sometimes the picture people see is just your gun.
That's a mistake. That's an error. That's an error. You are dealing with men of different background. You are leading men in battle. So you need to be vast. You need to have that knowledge upstairs. Otherwise, you will kill people. If you are not well trained, if you are not well versed in administration, in management, in command, in the, so many things, you will end up killing people.
So they teach you the laws of human nature?
Human nature, man management.
The laws of power?
Power, economics, they even learn basic medical, attention, approach to basic issues before the medical doctor or when medical personnel will come. You have already taken some step to preserve life.
Wole Soyinka is your godfather?
Yes.
How?
How? My father asked him to be my godfather.
He was your father's friend?
Oh, yes.
Very good friend.
Very good friend.
Very good friend. Was your father a pirate?
No.
Why were they good friends?
Because my father went to the University College Ibadan between the second set, 1949 to 53. Uncle Wale was coming into the University College, I think 1952. So obviously he was 3-4 years junior to my dad. But my dad took interest in, because there were two of them, two godfathers. There was Olumuyiwa Awe and Wole Soyinka. That's where my name comes from. Olumuyiwa Oluwole Ige.
I see.
So Professor Muyiwa Awe, who was a physicist, and then you'll say he was also a pilot. He was one of the original 7.
Was he the husband of the Professor Awe?
Yes. I share the same birthday with her.
So what was it about professors that got your daddy interested?
Academics are thinkers, and obviously the way he chose his friends, the manner he was well rounded. He had friends from everywhere, but in particular, they had a socialist bent, and so, as I said, they wanted to emancipate the people, and even from the Nigerian youth movement in England at the time, with Uncle Tayo Akpata, who was the secretary of the Nigerian youth movement in England. And so when they were in school, they were not professors.
That has been 1,000 pictures
of the war.
No, I have over 10,000 pictures
of the war.
Nobody else has it. Nobody. And I allow them to use it. If they want to use it, use it.
Sometimes when I'm reading the book, I spend more time on the pictures.
Yes, that's it.
I spend more time on the pictures.
You know why? Because the story in the book was too good to be true. If the pictures were not there, nobody would believe the book. It was like going to capture Obubra. Nobody died, and I captured the whole state. How did you do that? The picture proved it.
On page 148, there's this picture there.
Okay.
148. A 50-foot long snake swallowed a soldier.
Okay.
We killed the snake with the soldier still inside.
Yes.
That scene.
All right. I got there. I was 27 years old. And I was afraid. But as the officer, I couldn't run away. Shoot the bastard, kill the snake. They said, we've been shooting all day. One said, I finished my magazine, the snake no die, oh.
By this time, the snake had swallowed the soldier.
The soldier, strike.
And it wasn't moving.
They couldn't move. Because the soldier's head was already, only the boots were outside. And what happened, they fired and the snake did not die. So then I said, all right. You want the snake to die? Everyone say, yes, sir. Take my grenade, touch my head. I was just boasting. They touched my head with the grenade, throw the grenade. And the snake went into pieces.
The soldier was gone.
It was already gone now when the snake swallowed. The snake will first of all strike before swallowing.
So it means Nigerian troops were fighting in rough terrains.
I wrote in this book that we were not just fighting Biafra. We were fighting the mangrove forest, the topography. We were fighting the mangrove in the mangrove forest. You saw the pictures. We even killed an elephant. There is an elephant here.
Yes, I saw
the second was a female. And I told them not to kill that one, to let that one go. Oh, yeah. The snakes in the water, the mud. The pictures here showed what we went through in Marine Commando. In 1 division and 2 division, I mean, driving from Benin to Asaba, where was the problem they had? Or driving from Kaduna or going to Enugu to Umaya. What was the problem on the way?
You spent most of your time during the war
fighting the elements. It was raining every day. The pictures are here.
You were in the 3rd Marine Commando.
In 3 Marine Commando, I couldn't see you. You're about 10 meters from me. I couldn't see you.
Adekunle was the commander.
Adekunle was our commander. Was the GOC.
And the story of the war from that end sometimes can be scary.
Of course it is. Because so my soldiers, I lost 8 soldiers in the Scorpion strategy, the advance to Port Harcourt from Calabar. When they saw the expanse of water linking the Cross River to the Atlantic, they panicked. That was the first canoe, and that was why he died about, this officer, I want to mention his name, General Daramola, SF Daramola. He died about 2 months ago. May he rest in peace. He became the commander of the depot, at the training depot at Abeokuta. And we said what was most important to us was that they must let the soldiers in training to go and see expanse of water in Lagos before bringing them to the war front. People panicked. We were in the middle of the ocean, they panicked. And that's why I lost those 8 people in that canoe.
Before 3rd Marine Commando, you had left Kaduna, you had gone to Lagos hoping to see Gowon for a meeting. At some point, you were now in Benin.
At the 4th Area Command.
Tell us your story.
I think at that time, Gowon and Ojukwu had gone to Aburi, and one of those decisions they took also was that Nigeria, okay, let everybody go to his home area. And that was when my mother said, no, you are not going to stay in Ilorin. You're going to save your father's people. You have to go to 4 Area Command. Elijah, how did you know what is 4 Area Command? General Hassan told, Colonel Hassan at that time, told her that, okay, he would transfer me to 4 Area Command.
Your mom was working for you.
I mean, the book I'm writing about my mother is entitled Abiamo. That will be my first book, because my third book is going to be How and Why Biafra Lost the War. You know, the one I'm writing right now is called Kismet, The Joy of Victory. So I was transferred to 4th Area Command. All the officers, more than 90% of the officers of the 4th Area Command were Igbo officers. Nwanwo, Nwajeyi, Okochime, Uchei, all of them like that. They refused to guard the bridge against Biafra at Asaba.
The River Niger Bridge.
The River Niger Bridge. So,
but they were given order to guide the bridge.
Yeah, the order now was who will be the commander. Now they got one Trimnell who was from Utagbono there, an half-caste officer, was a lieutenant colonel. They sent him there. He said, well, he was limping. I think he fell playing tennis or something. Then I volunteered, because that man liked me. He gave me my first driving license in 1960. So I then said, all right, since he is sick, I volunteered to go. Nobody transferred me there. I volunteered to go and defend the bridge at Asaba. And then Biafra crossed Asaba.
Where were you when they crossed?
It was at night. We were in the hotel. My soldiers were on duty. All my soldiers went to join Biafra because they were soldiers of that area, Agbo, Asaba, Gwashuku, and all that kind of stuff.
So you were left alone?
In fact, there is an intelligence report that has been declassified now, which said all the officers were captured by Biafran soldiers except Alabi Isama, who fought his way through. My mother was in Lagos. You want to take me to Biafra? Laye, for where? So I fought my way through by the good grace of Almighty.
You were Biafran by birth?
No, I was not. In fact, here is another point you have just made. A classmate of mine called Pascal Odu, he wrote a book. I can't remember the title of the book, but I have a copy. Anuku, the Navy commander in Biafra, was from Agbo. Anuku gave Pascal Odu an order. He refused to obey it. He said, but you are not a Biafran. Would Anuku have stayed in Lagos, they would have killed him as an Igbo man. Here in Biafra, they didn't even accept him.
Why didn't they accept him?
You must ask Pascal Odu is late.
But many of the officers from the so-called Delta Igbo fought on the side of Biafra.
Fantastic. Okochime, Nwanwo, Nwajeyi, Ochei that captured me was on Biafra side.
How did you escape from Asaba?
All right. First of all, I think we'll go back a little because I had a lady friend when we were in Kaduna. When they were killing the Igbos, the parents left for Enugu. Her new boyfriend, an Igbo officer, Nwokocha or something anyway, there was a meeting in the house there. And at that meeting, they said the only person that can stop them from getting to Lagos was Alabi Isama. And she had that. She jumped into the motor, public transport, got to Onitsha, crossed the river by canoe, came to tell me. Can you imagine seeing? I wrote the story in the book. She came to tell me that, hey, Biafra will be crossing River Niger by 10 p.m. that day. And she was with me around 6 o'clock. She had just heard this story from her new friend in Enugu, in whose house the meeting was held.
She was a spy.
She wasn't a spy. She came to talk. That's loyalty.
To you.
That's it. That's loyalty. If you were no good to that person, cannot be loyal to you. That's loyalty. You know, so she came to inform me that that was also going to... The story is in the book. And my deputy, Isiche, an Igbo officer, he had tampered with my guard. He was dressed in battle dress. Why are you in battle dress? Oga, Biafra, you are going to a meeting at Benin tomorrow. I said, no, I want to leave tonight. He said, no, don't leave tonight. It's too late. It's after 6 o'clock, but I love driving at night. Nothing will happen. He said, no, things are not good these days. And Biafra may come. This is your first time of leaving station. And why don't you go tomorrow morning? That he had ordered my driver to take the vehicle, go and service and get ready for tomorrow 6 a.m. I will be at Benin for 9 a.m. meeting. In the meantime, my driver had taken the vehicle away because he said the driver was living too far. And to be able to come at 6 a.m. will need transport. Those were not the days of Okada or taxi and so on. And he said, oh, because you are traveling, something may happen. I have doubled your guard. I have doubled the roadblocks. My friend, I am the commander. You didn't tell me you were going to change my guard or double my guard. You didn't tell me you were going to change my roadblock. All right. Remove all of them. Oga, we cannot remove all of them. We'll leave you alone. Who told you I'm alone? He said, who will be your security? I said, look Jesus Christ here. Look, Holy Michael. Look, I wrote it like that. It's in the book. I think it's page 58 or so. And I said, I'm not alone. He just said, you see now, Yoruba man, they fear. I said, if Biafra will come tonight, you will see what is called war. I will fight everybody there, including yourself, if you stop. Biafra came. They knocked at the door. They had already arrested all the officers. All my soldiers had joined them. They had killed all the Hausas at Okpebholo, they call the area in Asaba, where the Hausas were living. They had killed them. Those that escaped. Ida. I was trying to remember Ida. Those that escaped were captured at Ida and they killed all the Hausas. Now, they knocked at my door. It was a glass door. It was the catering rest house. And because I had been tipped that they were coming, I already got some grenades, I think 4, and I got a small machine gun. When they knocked, I opened the curtain, and I saw they were Biafrans. About 10, I said in my book, but there were 20 by the time we counted the dead. They knocked. Who are you looking for? They said they're looking for Commander. I said, Commander, don't travel. Then one of them said, now invoice be that. That means that person must be one of my soldiers or one of my officers. They just opened fire into the glass door. When they opened fire into the glass door, of course they shattered it, I was able to lob my grenade. They had taken things for granted that, only one man will go kill him now and they will move on. So they bunched themselves together. You know, it's like the story of David in fighting Goliath. You use your catapult. God directed the bullet to go to the right place. The stone went to the right place to kill Goliath. So when they bunched together and I threw my grenade through the shattered glass door, it killed them. Some were still crying and one said Chineke and was running. I followed him with my machine gun. So I didn't let him escape, otherwise they would chase me. So
this is war.
Oh, of course it is war. I had to fight now, and this time I was not fighting for Nigeria. I was fighting to survive.
And you survived?
Of course. So And then here my driver came. Okay, they've killed all the houses, and all our officers and soldiers, they've joined Biafra, and I had shooting in your area. And I said I should come and check. Then I called the driver, just turn around, and we will go to Agbo. Because in the meantime, those who are the point unit, we call them point unit in the army, they will go in front and make sure that things are going well. Just so, since I had knocked out the point unit, it delayed them because the plan of Biafra was to capture Benin at 12 midnight and to capture Lagos at 6 a.m. during the traffic. But you see, that was a wrong tactics. They didn't need to capture Alabi. Just go to your aim.
Straight to Lagos.
Go to your aim.
If they had gone straight to Lagos,
they will get to Lagos.
So what would have happened if they had gone straight to Lagos?
It depends on what they plan. And Gule, may he rest in peace, he was my classmate. I told him that I could capture Lagos with only 300 soldiers. Alabi, you're making mad. And I explained to him.
So they would have been able to capture Lagos?
Oh, easy.
Would you blame Victor Banjo for the delay?
I never met that man. I didn't even know him in the army. I never met him.
But you have read the story of that movement
I've just read
from Biafra.
Well, first of all, the tactics was wrong. Biafra escalated the war. There was what was called police action by Gawan's administration, just to make sure that the rebels would change and if you capture Ojukwu, okay, or that there will be no more war, or there will be no more fighting. It was a police action. But when they crossed the River Niger, and I had already informed them what was happening and so on, and I got to Agbo, their point unit came again. The story is in the book. I was making telephone calls to all the officers and to Lagos and to my mother. The telephone call just cut off. And when it cut off, I was blaming the police people. Who cut my phone? They said maybe P&T. The P&T was just next door. I took my jeep to go and see. The driver of the Biafran point unit was sitting in the vehicle while the rest went inside to go and call the telephone lines. When I saw that, they had a 404 station wagon and had a Land Rover. And I knew if he chased me, he would catch up with me. So I just turned and I started running with my Jeep. He caught up with me, of course. At that time, we were driving on the left, so the steering was on the right. His own was on the right. I look around, he was alone. How this private soldier will catch me, God, you know, you have to make a quick mental appreciation of what to do. I had to disable him and disable his vehicle. Otherwise, he will continue to chase me.
How did you do that?
So, as soon as he came out, I was still sitting, but I put my vehicle on the reverse so that I would throw my grenade to disable his vehicle and to kill him. So at that time, as soon as he moved from the driver's side, I was watching whether he had a grenade or he had SMG, which we call small machine gun. That was what he had. The fight was finished. I mean, how will this, well, in my mind, how will this private soldier holding an SMG capture me? So I threw the grenade in such a way that it killed him and disabled his vehicle. So those that caught the telephone line at the P&T had no vehicle to move. And the fight was already at 12 o'clock. So they did not capture Benin at 12 o'clock. They got to Benin at 6 a.m. I think they continued their advance. By the time I came out myself, they captured me at Agbo Junction.
Yes.
They captured me. And
I thought they would have taken you out immediately.
No, what the man was my footballer. You see, that's another thing about these sports. this is Alabi that killed our people at Asaba. So they captured me. They took me to their commander who was not in. When they took me to Ochei, Ochei was my boss at the NMS, at the military school. And we went to Congo together where when we arrived in Lagos, my mother had cooked pounded yam and soup and killed a cow. And we got to Benin and we got to Ibadan, killed another cow. We got to Ilorin, killed another cow. So all these officers and men knew my mother. When Ochei came, he said, "You, Alabi, you that your mother used to look after us and give us gifts," and I wrote that in the book.
Yeah.
He said, "I'm not going to kill you. You're a very good officer. I work with you. You will join us." Okay, I'll join you. But you have to brief me on what was happening. He briefed me, showed me the map. He said, "We are going to attack Eho tomorrow," and all that. And then on the map, he said, "If they defeat us here, we will move here. If they do this, okay, what is your own strategy?" He said, no, if they defeat us here, we'll come here. Anyway, I listened attentively, and I dragged on the discussions to make sure that he was still talking. He said, "We are going to attack tomorrow." I said, "Look, I've been fighting alone for 2 weeks, crossing Asaba to Agbo, from Agbo till I was captured. And can you give me a week at least to rest? If you give me a resting place, an accommodation, I will stay there, give me the vehicle and all that." And he did. So after the 1 week, the attack was going to be tomorrow. I had accepted. Then suddenly he called me to say, there's going to be an address of Biafrans. They had captured Benin, and they will want me to come and talk. What am I going to talk about? He said, "No, if you just say you have joined Biafra and all that, I think that will boost them because they know you, and all of them there, all the villages, they know you playing football, and you've been traveling around Asaba, Kwale, everywhere playing football, and they know you. So I should come and talk." I followed them. We came back from this, and the attack was going to be the next day. I told the driver, "I'm going to test you people, my orderlies." They gave me escorts and everything. I wrote in the book, Labi Sama, Biafran officer, I wrote in my book. 9 o'clock, I want you to come. They arrived 9:15. Good. All right, go back. Come at 3 o'clock. No, come at 12 o'clock. They came at 12 o'clock, dead on time. Good, that's what I want. Come back at 3 o'clock. Now that I know you people are okay, come back at 3 o'clock. They came at 3 o'clock sharp. The attack was going to be 6 o'clock. All right, escorts, go and sleep now because I've bothered you too much. Driver, you two go and sleep now, leave the key and all that. Everybody, you will come back 5:45 and we will go on for the attack. As soon as they left, I took the vehicle. You see, in tactics, this is another thing that some people don't seem to understand. Looking for me, they knew that I would be traveling towards Lagos. Are you with me? That I will be traveling towards Lagos. So they had radioed their roadblocks and everybody to make sure that they catch Alabi. He ran away with our vehicle and all that, with Biafran uniform. And I went back to Asaba. They were not expecting me to do that. That was when we knew the number of people that died and so on. And it was from there I went to Kwale. Then I went to meet my father's people and told them what happened. Do you believe it? My mother was already there telling stories in Ukwane and they were dancing. Biafra had captured the Midwest. My mother was still there telling everybody to join federal troops, to join Nigeria, Elijah. Biafrans are already they've captured it. We said, don't worry. My mother went around. I mean, it's another story. The story is in the book, collecting letters, signatures from the chiefs of the villages to join federal government.
The point you make in this book is that Biafra ought not to have invaded the Midwest.
It's something that I have to draw a map for you to see. It was the greatest blunder of Biafra, and that's why they failed. Biafra escalated the war. There was no reason to have attacked Midwest.
Now,
the Midwest would have been their point of information. Agbo people will say, the northern soldiers don't reach, they are coming, and you are ready for them. They did not have any good reason to cross River Niger.
Alexander Madiebo was the GOC of the Biafran army.
Good.
During the war.
True.
He wrote a foreword for your book.
He did.
That is foreword 4.
Yes. Foreword 5, I think.
Foreword 5, rather.
Okay.
Foreword 5. He says in the foreword,
okay,
for instance, the author, that is you,
yeah,
may not have known that the Midwest Biafran offensive was personal to Colonel Victor Banjo,
okay,
using scantily armed militiamen,
yes,
and kept a secret from the Biafran army commander.
Yes.
He says, moreover, the author could not have known that Colonel Banjo had deceived General Ojukwu into authorizing him to undertake the operation to capture Lagos through Benin and Ibadan. What do you have to say?
Again, I told you, I never met Victor Banjo as a senior officer, as an infantry officer. He was even not an infantry officer.
He was of the engineering corps.
He was an engineer, okay. But probably he was interested in liberating the West, or whatever was his interest, I didn't know. But that tactics of attacking one man was a wrong tactics in any book, in any language. Because all he would have done, even if they wanted to do that, go to your aim. And when you get there, in the morning at 6 a.m., somebody will knock at the door and salute, sir. They say, make I bring you to Enugu. Who are you? And I will see Biafra uniform. They even went to Warri. They went to, you don't need all that. You go to your aim. If you go to your aim, in the army, aim is in anything in life, as a matter of fact, the aim is very important. Let me give you some examples of the importance of aim. Let us say today that we're in Ibadan, and they said, let us go capture Lagos. Why do we want to capture Lagos? And you say, oh, we want to collect tax. They have a lot of money. And since we have good soldiers, let's go capture Lagos and collect tax from them. If you arrive at the Bar Beach with your troops, you have won the war, or you have won the battle, but you lost the war. The aim was to collect tax. Arriving at the Bar Beach, everybody will have been refugee towards Seme border or towards Benin. So who are you going to collect tax from? Do you understand? Yeah. So you lost the aim. Your strategy and tactics will have been, by the time you arrive at Abeokuta, you want some troops will go to Seme, some troops will go to Ore or somewhere, and some will stay at Shagamu Junction. And then you have food, you have water, you even have milk for children. As soon as the refugees arrive, you start to give them water, you start to give them, to look after them. And then they will say, these are the people they say they want to capture us. These are good people. Then you will tell them to go back. You cannot be a refugee in your own country. It happened here. I wrote in my book. We told the refugees, go back to your villages. 3 Marine Commando never had a refugee camp. We had no even prisoners camp. Prisoner of war, the Biafrans that we captured, we put them back in Marine Commando. So in that case, you give them water, you look after their children, you play with their people, and then they will go back. The objective remains Lagos, but the aim was to collect tax. And you can only collect tax from people that believe in you and loyal to you.
So they missed the aim of that movement.
That's it. In the same objective, Lagos still objective. Ibadan, we were going to capture Lagos. Why? We want to occupy their houses, and they have good buildings, and we are living in mud houses. If you arrive at the bar beach and they run away, that's what we're looking for. We will occupy their buildings. The objective remains the same, which is Lagos, but the aim is not the same. So if you stick to your aim, you were looking for Biafra. Why were you looking for Biafra? For our survival. Why will you cross River Niger? Whether Banjo, this must be an afterthought. Whether Banjo crossed on his own, or how could Banjo carry Biafran troops, will carry, what do you call them in Biafra at that time?
Yeah, the point Madiebo even makes in his book.
Yes.
In this book.
Yes.
This is Alexander Madiebo's book. His own account of the war.
Okay.
So the point he makes here.
Okay.
Well, yes, Ojukwu knew about the crossing.
Okay.
But he also makes that point that Ojukwu was deceived about the crossing.
How could Ojukwu, me as commander-in-chief of my army, you took my troops, you took my vehicles, you took my money, you took my food? The commander-in-chief must have been an idiot.
Now, from other accounts, the aim was capture Lagos.
If that was the aim, go
straight
that's
to
all.
Lagos.
That's the point I am making.
But Banjo stopped in Benin.
He couldn't have gone to Lagos because I had killed the point unit at Asaba and the point unit at Agbo. So they were cautious. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Therefore, they did not know where next I put an ambush.
But they eventually got to Ore.
Okay, when they got to Ore, at that time, it was daybreak. Everybody was waiting. I had already telephoned everybody. The only person that did not react well was Obasanjo. Because when I called, he said he had no equipment. He had nothing to use to blow Oluwa Bridge. If you blow the bridge, they would not be able to cross. They are coming in full force.
You wanted him to blow the bridge?
Yes, to blow the bridge at Oluwa River.
Who did you call again?
And then I called the governor when Obasanjo said he had no equipment. So I called the governor.
Adebayo?
Adebayo. Because Adebayo was even like my mentor. He was the only black person, the only African amongst the European that interviewed me as a cadet. And the Europeans were saying, well, the man, whether they forgot or whatever, they were still interviewing me. I sat down there and they look at each other. They said, wait a minute. This man has answered all the questions well. This young man, he is too small. And Adebayo said, oh, he will grow, he will grow. And like all of us grew up, he will grow. That he answered the questions well, the sports captain of Ibadan Boys High School, and he's been doing very well. And he answered the questions well. That was how I got to know Adebayo very well.
So when you called him...
And I called him, and I told him what had happened. And all I wanted was I will continue to lay ambush. By the grace of God, I was alone. But all night, I could lay ambush. So Adebayo then called the PWD people. The man's name was Akonde. They call him CS Akonde. They called the PWD people. Can you people blow the bridge at Oluwa before the Biafran people will come? They say yes. They had all the equipment. And they went. They blew the bridge. So by the time they got to Ore, the bridges had been blown. The Biafrans could not cross. And instead of going through Warri and go to Benin and go on, the order for Chukuka was to capture Warri, and he did. You didn't need Warri. You didn't need Eho, you needed Lagos. If he was an infantryman, he probably maybe do better. But Akaga, who was the commander of the troops, he came back with only his pants.
You were an infantry officer.
Yes. Yes.
You like guns. You like attacks.
Yes. First of all, in an infantry, you are taught how to defend your country by attacking others or by defending your country. All this, and I was instructor at the military school in Zaria, and I instructor at the tactics school, which was NMTC. So I read many books. Including The Art of War, Sun Tzu. In 1965, I went to Vietnam to go and see General Giap. Giap. He said he was a teacher. He was not a general. That everything was common sense. You know?
And you deployed that knowledge in the war.
That's the way even, you know what? The man told me, he said, look, we use what was called the Ho Chi Minh Trail. What is Ho Chi Minh Trail, sir? He said, this is it. Sir, I traveled all the way, 1965. I was at a training in Pakistan. I got my visa through Alhaji Kolo, Sule Kolo, who was the ambassador in Pakistan. They didn't want to give me visa, but they gave me visa and I traveled all the way. Please explain what was Ho Chi Minh Trail. He said, this is it, I'm showing you Ho Chi Minh. I said, this footpath? He said, that's it. If you use the footpath, American troops or French troops will be looking for vehicles, they will be looking for aeroplane, they will not trek on the footpath. And I used that to effect in capturing Port Harcourt and in capturing Obubra and the last war, the Pinza II, how the war was won. We used the footpath.
So books are critical to strategy.
Oh, yes. Well, it's like somebody reading my book. I'm 85 years old. To have read my book, whatever you learn from there is a knowledge of an 85-year-old man.
Despite the effort you put to defend Nigeria's goals at the beginning of the war, at some point you were invited to Lagos and you were thrown into Kirikiri.
Yes.
How did you offend the Nigerian state?
No. Okay. Again, this is what my mother would say, kismet again. The wish of Allah, the wish of God. Now, I was told that General Gawan would like to see me, and I thought, to my mind, that all the efforts I had put into defending Benin, they were fighting at Agbo, fighting at Asaba, and all that, that of course the story had reached him and he wanted to see me. They sent a plane to pick me up. Oh, you need to see how long it took me to iron my clothes, you know. And then Oba of Benin at that time, Akenzua, he also had a cocktail party for me, thanking me for not letting Biafra to take Benin at 12 midnight, that many people probably would have been killed.
They didn't want to be under Biafra?
No.
The Benin people?
The Benin people, of course not. That was one of the mistakes of Biafra. After they had captured Biafra and they were looking for governor, and then you were saying Ojukwu did not know and all that. He put the governor there. I forget that story. It is when we get to a point like this, you know the difference between a fool and an idiot. They are usually the same thing. They are brothers and sisters, but the fool, an idiot is worse. At that time, Ojukwu had allowed the governor to be an Igbo man. Couldn't he have taken the son of a politician there, or even a politician, or even a son of the Oba of Benin to be the governor? Even if it's only to be for 2-3 months, the people will say, well, since our man now be governor, we'll go follow him. You went and put another Igbo man, so you're coming from Enugu. They are already saying that Igbo people are trying to take over their land. Now you put an Igbo man as governor. He must be sick. My third book, which is the Why Biafra lost the civil war. That was one of the points. I mean, you mean you didn't know about Banjo taking your troops, taking the money, taking the food, taking your people across the river Niger? That was how Biafra escalated the war.
Not that Ojukwu did not know, but the goal was Lagos. That is the analysis in some quarters. But Banjo did not follow the goal.
Okay. Now, remember, in the military today, if you put an Hausa, you put an Igbo man. If you put a Yoruba, you put somebody. The commander of that army was Lieutenant Colonel Akagan, because we were together in 4th Battalion. A very seasoned officer, a very good officer. He didn't like me, yes, but he was a very good officer. You know, he didn't like me because 4th Battalion was divided as Igbo and Hausa troops. And I was coming from military school on transfer. We didn't have Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba problem in military school. So when I arrived there, I wanted an accommodation. As a married man, I had paid my rent in the barracks. And this Major Amadi, he was a single officer. He was living in the quarters that I was supposed to occupy. I had 3 sons at the time. And then they didn't give me the quarter because Amadi was there. He was a major. I was a captain at the time. And they gave me 1 bedroom for my wife and 3 children. And so I went to complain to him. He said I shouldn't have complained. What should I have done? You are the CEO. Lajima was on leave. That's why he was acting CEO. He was the 2IC. And because Amadi was an Igbo man, he was defending Amadi. This is not it was not a defensible situation. The man, I paid rent. I am married. I have 3 sons. And we are here. We've arrived on the date I was told to arrive. My accommodation was not ready. I should give him a month more. I cannot. I've paid the rent. What will I do?
So did you get a better apartment?
I didn't. I didn't until my mother went to buy a place at Odeolo, at Mokola. My mother had to buy a place for us to stay.
So you lived outside the barracks?
Then I lived outside the barracks, and then ever since the man didn't like me because Amadi himself was removed from the Wete area of Western Nigeria, and I took over the Wete operation.
So let's look at your journey to Kirikiri.
Okay, so General Gawan had already sent for me, put a plane and ironed my clothes, went to Oba of Benin, who even gave me a land, 100 by 100 feet at that time, as a gift for my gallantry.
Do you still have your land?
I have the document, but I've never been to the place up to today.
So somebody must have built on you.
Well, that again, I don't have any land in any of the GRAs in this country, in any part of this country that I served, even in Ilorin. You know, anyway, to go back to General Gawan, so General Gawan has sent for me. But when I got there, it was like about 7 p.m. And he was at a meeting with the president of Togo, Yadema. And then they went to tell him that Alabi is here, so he told me to come in. Then there, if you see the way I marched there and banged my foot, I almost broke my back. Then he said, well, look, I'm at a meeting with Yadema, take him away. He just said, take him away. So, but I was tired and I slept in the Land Rover. And by the time I woke up, I was at Kirikiri. I was at the prison yard and I saw Kirikiri. The warders, everybody had come around. I was fighting them. I was 27 years old with karate, with neck chop. Everybody was holding their neck. I was fighting them until they overpowered me and they wanted to knock my head with their dungeon. And then Mr. Ifije, the warden commander there, the chief warder.
You had grabbed him before.
I was already kicking his balls. And then they said, all right, leave him, leave him, leave him. God came to hide him here. The war was going on. I said, God came to hide me in Kirikiri, did not hide me at Federal Palace to drink and dance. I've been fighting for 2 weeks, 15 days, alone and my God. And this is where I will end. I was there for 15 days, you know, at Kirikiri. I was doing hunger strike. They brought food I don't want to eat. They brought the next day, I don't want to eat. When hungry catch me, I told them to go bring chop. What do you want? Pounded yam. What soup? Egusi soup. What meat? Go bring any meat. I want liver. They brought everything. Will you like to drink? Well, go bring water and beer. I never drank. And then some of the prisoners say, "Oga, ask for cigarette." But I didn't know which cigarette to ask for. So I said, bring cigarette, anyone, maybe bicycle. Then they said, no. Tell them Benson and Hedges. So when they brought bicycle, I tossed it to the prisoner and I said, Benson and Hedges is what I want next. And I want fish. They brought everything. They looked after me.
You were not a smoking soldier.
You know, I was not drinking. I was not smoking. And then on the 15th day, one Mr. Bakare came to interview me. And he said, all Nigerian troops had died at River Niger. Oh, those are all my soldiers. All my troops, they said. And they had told General Gawan. So General Gawan then said, all Nigerian troops, they say all. What happened to Alabi Sama? They said, you told us to bring him. We brought him here. You said, take him away. We lock him up at Kirikiri. You lock Alabi Sama at Kirikiri. What did he do? But you told us to take him away. We could have shot him. What about Akinade? Akinade was looking for him. And so the two of them were not among the troops that died at Onitsha River. He just said, look, transfer Alabi Sama straight away to join Adekunle at Marine Commando, about to land at Calabar.
The prison warder was right? You know, he was preaching to you.
Yeah,
there.
well, and then when they said I should kneel down for prayer, you need to see my hand wide open.
Because you just realized you would have died in that river crossing.
Yes.
But how did they make such a blunder, crossing the river Niger that way?
Again, the level of your knowledge on a subject is very important. That's why when we are discussing with people, especially students at the military college, you let him talk. That's the level of his knowledge. Then you will tell him why he shouldn't do that or why that was a good idea. You must let people talk so that you will know the level of their knowledge on the subject you are discussing with them. So, again, it's like Banjo. Why will you say Alabi Sama was going to be the only obstacle that will stop you from getting to Lagos? You will have arrived in Lagos. To be in the morning, the man will wake up and you, good morning, sir. They say, make I bring you to Enugu. That's all. You will capture as many as you want to capture.
Because one of the biggest victories,
yes,
one of the biggest victories of the Biafran army during the war was the demolition of Nigerian soldiers during that river Niger crossing.
Well, if you use the word demolition, what did they demolish? They killed the houses.
The soldiers perished.
Yeah, it's over. That was them crossing back after they had captured Benin, after they had captured the Midwest. It was after they had captured the Midwest, arrived at Asaba, trying to go to Onitsha, that they perished on the river. Do you get my point?
Is it not the Nigerian soldiers that perished in the river?
It was Nigerian soldiers. But it was not by the fact that Biafra killed them. It was a wrong tactics and a wrong instruction.
But they were ambushed at Onitsha.
Oh, yes, if that is what you are saying.
Yeah.
Okay, because the wrong tactics and the wrong strategy took them to a wrong place, even at Abagana. Even at Abagana, the pictures in my book, they went as if they were going on a picnic. And instead of Biafra, what we did at Uyo, where we captured all their vehicles and told them to run away, Biafra did not capture their vehicles. They just burnt everything and demolished everything. And Achuzia was so happy about that.
And that was the wrong tactics.
That was the wrong tactics. You know, the tactics of Biafran officers and men were very kindergarten.
Tell me more.
Even at Port Harcourt, they were so happy that they were attacking One, going into Bonny. They were so happy that they attacked One and they captured One. They have forgotten that the aim, according to the map they stole, was to capture Port Harcourt. So they thought it was Akinade coming to capture Port Harcourt. And then they, of course, realized that with Okpebholo River, nobody can cross that river easily. I told Isaac Boro to train 300 people. He trained 3,000. He trained 3,000. And these 3,000, about 2,000 had already crossed the river, came behind enemy lines, behind Biafra lines at Bori Ogoni. That was how we were able to build the pontoon. We couldn't have been able to build the pontoon if that plan did not work.
Gowon sent you to the 3rd Marine Commando.
Yes.
Where Adekunle reigned.
He had just captured Bonny.
Adekunle captured Bonny on the 26th, 27th of July, 1967.
Right. That's right. And he was now attacking, you see, he did not attack Bonny. He infiltrated into Bonny because if it was an attack where they were bombing, they had 13 million liters of fuel in the tank. So he knew that. Part of his plan was to infiltrate into the place, take up a defensive position, make sure that the tanks were safe. And that's what he did.
Were Biafran soldiers in Bonny at the time?
The Biafran soldiers were at Bonny.
Why were they there? What was so special about the Atlantic during that war?
Good. The British consul at Enugu and the American consul at Enugu went to Ojukwu. There is, I guess, there is today a declassified secret document where these two people, the British and the American consuls, they went to Ojukwu to say, look, this Atlantic Ocean, and if Nigeria will come through Atlantic Ocean, how will you handle it? Ojukwu said, there is nobody among the Nigerians that will even know the creeks. They don't know the creeks. They won't even be able to fight the Atlantic Ocean. This was what Ojukwu underrated the Nigerian army. And you know, in those creeks, Sombrero creeks, Mackenzie, Calabar creeks, all those creeks, we already studied them on the map. Adekunle knew about this map. His wife was from Bonny.
How did you get the maps?
From Nigeria now. Nigeria had a cartography office. Nigeria, we're a country, you know. We have all these things in Lagos.
Why was it so important to capture that zone?
Because of the oil tank. But then, Ojukwu just said there is nobody in Nigeria that can do that.
So Ojukwu did not defend it well?
He did not defend. I wrote it in my book. He did not defend it with the seriousness that it deserved.
Or did Biafra have the capacity to defend it?
Of course, my friend.
Remember, Biafra did not have the weapons.
Ojukwu had already said that there is no power in Africa that could defeat his troops.
No, forget what was said, because you wrote in your book here that the powers behind Biafra's propaganda machine was intimidating.
Good.
So forget what was said.
Yeah, but if it was said by the head of state of my country, I should believe him.
By the time you began to attack, you discovered that Biafra didn't have the weapons to fight the war.
Not only the weapons, they didn't have that kind of sense to win the war. Biafra, you must know that Biafra never woke up one day to say we were going to attack a place other than that Asaba crossing. They made a little effort at Kotekpene, but that was a counter-attack. They made a little effort at Aba, that was a counter-attack. They made a little effort at Olu and Oguta, that was a counter-attack. Biafra had never gotten up to say, we are going to attack so place.
So they were mostly on the defensive.
They were always on the defensive.
Now, capturing the Atlantic was key to controlling the sea, right?
Of course.
After Nigeria captured that axis, what happened to Biafra?
Of course, Biafra retreated. 3 Marine Commando now had captured Bonny. 3 Marine Commando now had captured Calabar. So from Bonny to Calabar, 300 kilometers of Atlantic Ocean is now in the hands of 3 Marine Commando. Therefore, from Lagos to Calabar, 1,000 kilometers of Atlantic coast, now owned by Nigeria.
So by this time, Biafra had been cut off from the sea.
That's it. They could not get a supply from the sea.
And you needed the sea to get supplies.
Well, they could use the air. That's why we started looking for the air. They could use the road through Ikom. But then we went also to capture Bubra and close Ikom border.
By the time the 3rd Marine Commando captured the Atlantic Theater, Biafra became landlocked, right?
Yes.
No access to the sea.
No.
What about Oguta? Is there not access to the sea?
Onitsha, they will have to come to Atlantic Ocean. Onitsha is also a tributary to the Atlantic Ocean. All the waters in the world are to be deposited in the Atlantic Ocean or in the Pacific. That's how the Lord made it. So in Nigeria, whatever the river, whether Otamiri, Imo River, Cross River, whatever the river, Apayafe, all these rivers deposited their water into the Atlantic.
So on a good day, if we are discussing tactically, a Biafra will not be productive without access to the sea.
Yes.
That means, let's assume Biafra will come.
Yes.
That means that Biafra must include some parts of River State.
Yes.
For it to have access to the sea.
You see, the point is, all they had to do is defend the land. The ship must have to come to land. The ship must have to bring troops to land. And we will not let it land.
But you need to defend the sea.
That's what we're saying. You don't have to defend the sea by staying in the sea, because you don't probably have the boat. They had the boat, which did not work, which was attacked by, I've forgotten the name of this Yoruba officer, and Pascal Odu was from the Biafran side attacking the Nigerian boat. And I've forgotten the name of this officer. Anyway, whatever that was, if you stay at the shore, you have no ship, you stay at the shore, the troops must land on the shore, their weapons must land on the shore, their supplies must land on the shore. You could take them on. You could take them on. Easy and quiet.
General Sama,
yes.
Nigeria was better equipped, right?
That again is an assumption.
No, you tell me. You fought the war.
Yes.
You saw Biafran weapons.
Okay.
Because you captured territory.
Yes.
You captured Biafran soldiers.
Yes.
So what did you notice about Biafran weapons?
If the tactics was wrong, if the strategy was wrong, the weapon would be no use. It was like crossing the river at Asaba. The weapons was no use. Whatever the weapon they carry, it was no use. That is just the point. Your tactics and your strategy and tactics will your aim will dictate the strategy and tactics to apply.
In your book,
how many weapons did I have to attack their punch unit at Asaba and then at Agbo? I delayed them for 6 hours. They couldn't capture Benin. I delayed them for another 6 hours. They couldn't capture Ore.
So it's about strategy.
Strategy and tactics will play more important role than the weapons you are carrying.
In your book, you showed pictures of tactics and strategy sessions.
Yes.
You were instrumental to designing some of the tactics.
Yes.
To capture territory.
Yes. Like dilemma strategy to capture Obubra, so that we could have the entire Cross River State. The Scorpion strategy to capture the River State, today's Akwa Ibom and today's Bayelsa.
You talked about the Scorpion strategy.
Okay.
What is the link between Isaac Adakaboro and the Scorpion strategy?
Okay. That's a very important question, because without Isaac Boro, we would probably have captured Port Harcourt, but it would have been difficult. Isaac Boro made it easier. He knew the creek very well. He could even fire a 2-inch mortar from the boat, from the canoe.
He was a good soldier?
He was not a trained soldier. He was like General Gap of Diebenfu. He was not a trained soldier, but he trained himself with a lot of common sense. General Gap in Diebenfu told me that he was just a teacher, that he was not a general. But when they found him able to move people and motivate people, they kept on promoting him until they made him a general. And he proved himself. The same thing was Isaac Boro. Then let me use this example. If there is a hill and there is a big stone that was rolled down and hit vehicles or hit people and kill people and destroy things, it is not the stone. The momentum was caused by the hill. The momentum was not caused by the stone. So, if you told a soldier to fire to the right, that's the officer. You fire to the right and we won. If you leave the soldier alone, he probably fire to the left or to the back. So, the part that Isaac Boro played was certain things that I could not have done because I didn't know the creek that much. I only knew that from the map. He taught me how to walk on the creek. All the mods, how to walk. He said I should use your toe. Oga, use your toe as if you are dancing ballet. Say, shut up, I am the commander here. Say, yes, sir, but use your toe. You know, so the way you walk in the creek and in the marsh area is not the same you will walk on the ordinary floor. I told Isaac Boro, when Adekunle sent him to me, to train 300 Rivers people. All the Rivers people that were in Biafra, they ran to him. He trained them in swimming. And they were able to swim across the river in Calabar with their pack, with their equipment, with their weapon, across the river.
He was a leader soldier.
6 people with their equipment will be in the canoe. 8 people without their equipment. When we got to Okpebholo was when I realized how useful this man had been. I knew he was very useful when we captured Creek, it's called Jamestown. I went on a patrol with him in a dinghy. 3 of us. The canoe, the dinghy could only take 3 of us. The person that was driving it, and Isaac and myself. The pictures are in this book. We captured Jamestown. There is a place called Windham Creek. Thank God I could remember some of these things. Windham Creek. How we got there? Biafra did not see us.
Were Biafrans there?
He knew the creek. They were not there. The Biafrans were on the dry land. We went through the creeks and came out behind them.
Oh.
By the time we came out behind them at the creek at Jamestown, they fled.
Fled to where?
They fled away. Because they didn't want us to capture them. We had surrounded them. We had surrounded them, and that was why he got to Okpebholo. The pontoon, the government pontoon that used to carry people across, traders across, going to Port Harcourt, going to Eleme, going to Elelenwa, and so on. He captured it intact.
Did he address troops? Did you see him addressing troops?
He was. I put him in the training school, and I call it the C school.
You know, he was a student union leader.
Yes, Nsukka, I was told. He told me that.
Even before the war, he had launched the 12-day revolution.
They told me. They told me. He too told me. He told me because I asked him why was he fighting the federal government. He was fighting the federal government because of the oil.
So he was a revolutionary in that war?
Yes. The answer is yes.
He believed in the cause of Nigeria?
Yeah, well, he believed in the cause of the rivers if Nigeria will accept his conditions. The rivers people, if Nigeria will accept his condition. What were his conditions? We will share the oil, we will have majority, you can't have majority. So he wanted the oil to be shared among the states in the country, the regions, but now we gave it to individuals. We were silly. We are silly.
So he had that in mind while fighting for Nigeria?
That's exactly why he fought. That's why he fought against Nigeria. You know, he fought against Nigeria to start with.
Yes.
Yes.
Then he was arrested.
Yes.
And later released.
Yes.
And he joined the Nigerian army.
Yes.
So while the army war was going on, he still had that same belief that led to the earlier agitation.
Yes.
At what point did he die?
Well, he came to me that morning to receive his final order. Every commander came, Yemi Alabi, Ayo Ariyo, Romobo, everybody came to me that morning for the final attack into Port Harcourt. It was 17th of May, 1968.
Why were they all coming to you?
Because I was the chief of staff and I was the commander. Adekunle was in Lagos.
Adekunle was operating from Lagos?
Well, wait a minute. I think we've gone beyond that. Adekunle was sick. He trusted that I could handle the division. If he reported that he was sick, they would put him in the hospital, they would change him. He didn't want to be changed. And he believed he would be well. He trusted that. In fact, he gave me some tests like to capture Udukpani. I wrote it in the book. He told me certain places to go and capture, and I went to capture them. And he believed that I could handle the division. That's why he left the division for me.
So they were coming to you.
And I did not want to betray his trust. I did not want to tell anybody that he was sick because he told me not to tell anybody. But every plan that I made, I passed to him.
How did you pass your plan to him?
We have a 301 radio. I had a 301 radio.
So while he was in Lagos, the Nigerian state didn't know he was sick?
Yes.
Gowon didn't know.
But he was still working. He was still collecting supplies and everything. He was still sending things, and he was working even harder than being in the war front.
So?
But he had to be seeing his doctor. The doctor couldn't be coming to the war front.
So Isaac Adakaboro came to you that morning?
Isaac Adakaboro came to me that morning to receive his order for final attack into Port Harcourt. The instructions are contained in this book. And he saw that, he knew that, because we've been talking about it. You don't just wake up in the morning and say, this is what you are going to do. He had to tell his men too. You know, I read in my command, he said he gave the order for 1 hour. He gave the order to a division, advancing about 100,000 people. He gave the order for 1 hour to attack where? He has to, from the brigades, they have to tell the battalions have to tell the company has to tell the platoon has to tell the section, and it's a division of labor. Everybody must know where to go. And now in the case of Isaac Boro, he made sure that creeks, we should leave the creeks for him. So I left the creeks for him. I followed him up to Windham Creek behind Jamestown. When we captured that place, I left him and came back to move the other troops forward. And because he was there, it was so easy for us to land at Oron, even though I read in Madiebo's book that they defeated us at Oron or somewhere. But he wrote again in this book that everywhere they tried to settle, they were ambushed. It was the Scorpion strategy. It was the Scorpion strategy.
Who designed that strategy?
I did.
And Isaac Adakaburu helped you implement?
Oh, yes, because the Creek part of it would have been difficult.
So, when he left, what happened? I want to know how he died.
Okay, so he left me at 6 a.m. with his orders. Then on his way to his unit at Aleto Eleme by Okreka, one little building there, he probably could have said, hey, Audley, what's in that house that they locked the door? He went himself. And by 6:30, they came to tell me that Azigboro was shot. And they caught one ragtag swine. The picture is in the book here.
A Biafran soldier?
The Biafran soldier that shot him had only one round of ammunition in his rifle. One round of ammunition and shot Azigboro.
And that was the end of
That
Buru.
was the end. He never entered Port Harcourt.
He never entered Port Harcourt?
He never entered Port Harcourt.
What was that day like?
Well, first of all, his troops were annoyed. His troops were annoyed. He was commanding 19th Brigade. And they started raining bullets on Biafra. I stopped the attack. We were to arrive at Port Harcourt at 12 o'clock. We arrived at 2 o'clock because I stopped the attack for 2 hours. In my command, Obasanjo said the troops scatter. They were annoyed. They wanted to enter Port Harcourt immediately. No, I had to stop them. We were not going to enter Port Harcourt. We were going to go to Ilele. So 15th Brigade of Akinade plus 19th Brigade under the command of Yemi Alabi, they went to Ilele and Igrita, and Shande went to Bigbo. So because I had to be able to show you this on the map, because we had surrounded Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt is a big place. That was why Odenwa's book was correct about Owerri.
You're talking about this book?
Yes.
By Chike Odenwa?
Yes, the man wrote a good book.
A good book?
He wrote a good book.
You know he also fought in that Atlantic
Yes,
Theater?
he fought in Bayelsa, Ahoda, Ikota front, in Marine Commando. He was against Marine Commando. He was fighting against Marine Commando.
He survived it?
Yeah, he survived it. He survived it, again, by the grace of God.
So why do you read books like this?
I read every book that was written on Biafra. Many people lied. Well, you see, there's nothing wrong if you put a lot of adjective in your effort, in your memoir. He put Pascal Odu, Madiebo, Adekunle, no, Adekunle did not, Obasanjo and so on. It's okay. Even Babangida, it's okay to put a lot of adjective in your effort and in yourself. That is your prerogative as a human being. But don't forget that these books are being read by military schools all over the world, even by your own military schools in Nigeria. And they will discover few things that are not correct because you had over-exaggerated. You have used a lot of superlative adjectives to describe few things. But what is wrong is the fact that you know you are a charlatan. You have described yourself as being the best in the world. Fine. But the man who planned and designed the thing, you say he's the one that is wrong. That is my bone of contention with Obasanjo. Because you knew you were a charlatan on this subject. Now you now say Alabi Sama that designed the Operation Scorpion strategy and the dilemma strategy of Obubra. Now, and all my troops were with some of these languages, uncouth languages, to say they were looters. They we recruited women for socials. I have to recruit the woman before I sleep with the woman. I mean,
why did you recruit women?
We recruited women because there were two things that were very important at the time. We didn't care until my mother came. My oldest served my mother food. And she said, "Is that my food?" We said, "Yes." Said, "No, she wasn't going to eat the food served by a man. It was a taboo in Ilorin, unless if she was sick. Why will a man come to serve her?" Well, Elijah, it's either you will eat or you go to Lagos. No, we are going to be here. She wasn't going anywhere. Yeah, but we are not allowed to employ ladies except the nurses. And the nurses that came, there was no military hospital in our area of Calabar, Uyo, and the rest of it. Did we ask the government? Well, we didn't need to ask. It was not something that we have to ask. Then she decided she would go to Adekunle. She went to Adekunle in Calabar asking, "Why don't we have women?" Adekunle explained. But finally, Adekunle saw her point and radioed Lagos, sent a signal. Can we employ women to do signals, intelligence, this, that? Even with my mother still sitting down there, the reply came that we could recruit as many as we wanted. We recruited 56 in all. Only about 30 arrived alive. They were killed. Snake bit some. The most important job of those women, fetching firewood in the rain, in the mangrove forest. Where was the dry wood? Where was the kerosene? Where was the petrol to cook? What is it that you will cook with? Where was the gas?
How were you feeding the soldiers?
We were feeding the soldiers using the women. Do you know that Biafra could not even have cooking pots anymore? That's why we were able to feed them, and when they found food in 3 Marine Commando, they were happy. That's why, we didn't kill Biafrans.
But some divisions killed Biafrans.
Yeah, well, that's left to them. I wasn't there. But what I'm telling you is that in 3 Marine Commando, the Biafrans had been defeated mentally before they were defeated physically. They came to eat.
They were hungry.
And they were hungry. And there is a picture in the book with a bucket of eba. They finished it. 2 of them finished it. And they slept. I said, leave them to sleep. And the 2 of you become my orderly. Amechi, he died only 2 years ago at Abeokuta. He was my orderly.
They didn't have food.
They didn't have food.
You have blockaded them.
No, blockading is not what will have given them food. Was it blockade? Even they fought with Caritas that was flying food to them, the Catholic Caritas. Pope had to write letter to Ojukwu because he tried some oil people who were Italians, and he said they were guilty and he was going to kill them. Pope had to write to him. And then they found out, now, wait a minute, if we are feeding these Biafra people as Caritas, now death sentence on our people, then they stopped. I'm telling you, the tactics was wrong. It was as if they were children. The people giving you food, because they are oil workers, they could have been with you. Now you say you are going to try them because they were working in the oil field.
If the tactics was that wrong,
yes,
how come it took almost 3 years for Nigeria to win the war?
All right. Again, you can see that there were infighting here and there. For instance, when Obasanjo came, May 1969, the war was to last 30 days. He was there for 6 months. He didn't tell us he didn't know what to do. He was visiting there and they were receiving him, they were partying there. 6 months, and people were dying. In fact, there is a book now written that he got a supply of 8,000 men and 6,000 died. He was still blaming Gawan. He still needed more supplies.
Why was Benjamin Adekunle replaced with Obasanjo?
First of all, like I told you, he was sick. Secondly, he took things for granted. It was too easy to capture Obubra, to capture Dupani, to capture this and that. And he was boasting in Lagos. Adekunle was different in the war front and different in Lagos. He had told the press in Lagos that he was going to capture OAU. OAU, Owerri. A, Aba, U, Umahia. I was to go to Umahia, I refused. I can capture Umahia in 2 weeks, but I can finish the war in 4 weeks. I would rather finish the war. Shande went to Aba. Shande died. The story is in my book. He came to me the night before with Akinrade. I told him I will capture Obo Hill, going through Azumini, Ikoti Neme, and Ikoti Wa. If I capture those two, he will then be able to enter Aba. My men were ready. He went to tell Adekunle that he needed more time and more troops. Adekunle called him a coward. And he went on the attack. He didn't even wait for me to go to Ikotineme and Ikotuwa. So by the time we woke up in the morning, we found he was dead. He was shot straight right in the head.
By Biafran troops?
By Biafran troops. That was when we realized that all the people we thought were Hausa troops, they were Benue people. The Benue people said they were not going to fight anymore because Shande died. It took us another week. Akinrade had to take over Aba. And then Owerri. They went to Owerri. I will have to show you this on the map. It's a piecemeal situation. Why would you do that?
Did Adekunle manage the situation well?
Well, that was what went wrong. Oguta, for instance, was Biafra's refinery. They would defend it to death.
You could not take Oguta.
We took Oguta 1, but we could not take Oguta 2. Oguta 2 was more important.
Why couldn't you take Oguta 2?
Because we did not have enough troops. We were going to Igbo heartland. And the tactics must change.
At Lance, many Nigerian troops were killed.
Oh, yeah. Well, you will be talking about 1,000. Yes.
So Biafra was ready to die for Oguta too?
Yeah, well, because it was too near their center of gravity. And talking about center of gravity is not in any military book. I read it in a book.
Center of gravity because of the petrol?
The center of gravity where if I hold you by the neck or something, you will surrender. Is a place of importance to you, your supply line. Because after Enugu had been captured by one div, they captured the airport. 3 div, Marine Commando captured Calabar. Marine Commando captured Port Harcourt. They had no more airport. Within a month, they built Uli, Hiala, and Uga. That's Biafra ingenuity. Within a month, they did. So that became the center of gravity. That was the only supply line because we had closed ECOM, the land border. We had closed Atlantic Ocean. We had closed the air because we knocked down one of their supply planes. So everybody refused to fly in. Caritas refused to fly in because of the death sentence of the Italians. That's why I said, even if you are holding nuclear weapon, if the tactics was wrong, you are an idiot. If the tactics was wrong.
So because Adekunle could not capture Oguta II, what happened?
Then it's like, here is Oguta, here is Owerri, and this is, what's the name of this man? Makonjola was in charge of Oguta. Ini was in charge of the right flank at Iyogugu. I'm happy I remember these names. At Iyogugu. When Ini withdrew and Makonjola withdrew, they left Utuk alone at Owerri. For 7 months, they did not defeat Utuk. Utuk came back with all his dead bodies, with the dead body of his brigade major, Haman. Even broken down vehicles, he brought them out. Why were we not able to meet him at Owerri?
Adekunle's fault?
Well, it was the fault of Marine Commando, and he was the commander.
It wasn't your fault?
No, because I wasn't in charge of Sector 1. That was Godwin Ali. I had been, at that time, we had become a sector, Rio Sector 4, between Cross River and Cameroon. I was Sector 2, between Cross River and Azumini. Akinade, I was Sector 3. Akinade Sector 2, between Azumini and Otamiri. And Sector 1 was Ali from Otamiri to, I've forgotten the name of this river. But it's okay, I'm allowed to forget, I'm 85 years old.
So at this point,
yeah,
Adekunle had to go.
Well, Adekunle, that was not what made Adekunle to go. When Adekunle realized that he had failed in the OAU, he was like a soap bubble. You are beautiful, but there is nothing in the kitty. So he was unhappy with that. And because Akinade and myself, we had been the major people, officers against OAU, he decided he was going to ambush us. The story is in here. So he made an effort to ambush us.
Ambush to do what? To kill?
He wanted to, yes, to kill Akinade and myself.
You were his chief of staff?
Yes.
You covered for him while he was ill?
Yes, but you see, if we were killed, then they would say, Ogunja le Ijaore. You know, they say, it was because the thing was tough. That's why Akinade and Alabi were killed. That's what he wanted to achieve. But unfortunately, as we were driving, the bonnet of my car opened. Have you ever seen a car with a bonnet opened? Never seen it. We tried to put it down. We tried again. It opened again. We abandoned the car, went in the Land Rover where our escorts were. It was a difficult move because from Uyo, Adekunle said we should come at 7 a.m. To arrive at 7 a.m., I left at 9 p.m. through enemy lines without light. Without light. And we had to have the password of each location.
Password?
That means if I got to Nigerian troops and they say, who are you or whatever, and they say friend, yes, Alabi, if you say Isama, maybe that was wrong. Maybe you should say Rahman. They would just open fire. That must be an enemy. So we had to make sure that we got all that.
How did you get it?
And we got that through our own radio, you know. And the ambush commander, the mother came to the war front, and I said, Mama, they've told us not to allow family to come again. But here's my staff car. Go see your Pekin and come back. How many days you won't stay? 4 days. Still use my staff car. So the mama was happy with me. The mama on her way back, I said, well, we have nothing to give you. Here is a bottle of whiskey that I have. And the woman thanked me and prayed and all that. So the son was very happy. Richard, he was the military police commander. He was the one that had to go and lay ambush.
For you?
For me, yes.
And Akinade.
So he sent a note with a motorcyclist, with a rider, to go to Uyo. We had already left. By the time the man came back, we had already arrived at Adekunle's office 6:45. Then Adekunle was by the radio. How did you get here? What do you mean, how did we get here? You said we should come by 7 o'clock. You see, the story is in the book. And when we got there at 7 o'clock, he said, okay, I will talk to you one by one. Alabi, you stay. Akinade, you stay outside. Before he said any word, Akinade just opened the door. He got the note from Richard saying, don't come through Asa. We lay an ambush to kill you. So Akinade just opened the door. He said, they wanted to kill us, oh, let's run away. Like the same strategy. They realized we might go to the airport. We went on our way to
So by this time, Adekunle must have been paranoid.
When he saw us.
Because at this time,
when he saw us,
I have read different accounts of Adekunle's brutality during the war. That Adekunle killed his own soldiers to prove a point.
That is not true. That's not true. It's because, you know, it's like giving a dog a bad name to hang it. That's not true. Adekunle in the war front was not wicked to anybody. I am saying so as his chief of staff.
He didn't shoot his soldiers.
You saw the picture where he was carrying babies?
Yeah, that can be picture. You can stage a picture.
Yeah, I know. You couldn't stage that.
That can be a propaganda too.
What about the body language? What about the British member of parliament that came to see the children? We picked up those children that were abandoned on the way by their parents.
Recently I interviewed a W2 soldier.
Yeah.
That fought under the 3rd Marine Commando.
Okay.
He described Adekunle's brutality towards his soldiers.
He must have been an idiot. What does he know? Adekunle was at divisional headquarters. If he was a warrant officer, he would be with the company or battalion. How did he know? Know what? It was like one warrant officer saying that they had to pay salary. That must be a fool. We had 3 groups of people. The ones that were trained from Abeokuta that came to us, they already documented with next of kin and everybody. Then we had people we recruited locally. Then we had Biafrans that we documented and back in Marine Commando. Those ones that were documented, they had what we call allotment. That means if your salary was 10 naira, you say, please pay my mother 5 naira, pay my father 1 naira, pay my children's school fees, pay this, the rest you put. The British officers during World War II, those that got home had their money waiting for them in the bank, and they went and bought a house and lived happily thereafter.
What about those that didn't get home?
They what?
Those that didn't get home.
Those that didn't get home, their family, that was what happened. But isn't it better that your family was getting your allowances and money according to allotment than to have 6 months' salary in your pocket and you died?
But when Obasanjo took over from Adekunle,
yes,
he paid them at the war front.
Yeah, because that was one of the problems. The picture is in this book, where INI was paying soldiers. So, the man who told you the WO2 was because he didn't die. If he died 7 days before the end of the war, like Gagara, will he be talking like that? And those officers that came to pay, they had old currency, which was the legal tender in the war front, and they were paying and exchanging it with new ones. Now,
wait, explain this.
All right. The old currency was legal tender in the war front. New currencies were not legal tender in the war front.
So if they paid them the old currency in the war front, if some of them finished the war alive and came back to peacetime, what would have happened to the old currency they got?
Now you got the point. When we say some people are charlatans and you're arguing with me, then what will the old currency, where will he change it? To say I'm just coming from the war front and there we are. Where will he change it? But there was a deadline by which you must start changing your money, and there was a deadline. There was the beginning and the end. So where will the man who survived change his old currency?
So before Obasanjo changed that policy, soldiers that had allotment had money sent to their parents and families.
Yes, it was an allotment. The picture is there with paper in their hands. They have a copy. The next of kin had a copy. The 3 Marine Commando rear had a copy. Nigerian Army had a copy.
By Lance, soldiers were happy that Obasanjo paid them at the war front.
That was his story. It doesn't matter what anybody will say about his life. You can put adjective as much as you want, but you cannot then demonize the others. That was a bloody wrong tactics. In the Second World War, who paid any soldier fighting in Antwerp, or fighting in Bastogne, or fighting in Berlin? How do you pay them? They had allotments. How much to pay your school fees for your children? How much to pay your wife? How much to pay your father? In fact, some of the wives left and married some people else. Do you understand? They have to come to the 3 Marine Commando rear with their children, with their parents at the same time for their allotment. Do you understand what I'm saying? They are next of kin. Just that they must be paid. Yourself, your wife, your 2 children, you must be paid together. If that woman had married somebody else, the parents would talk. Do you understand? Logistics in the war front is not kindergarten issue. It's not kindergarten issue. It's a project on its own.
After the war, you went back to the Nigerian Army. Things began to work well. There's one subject I want to bring out. The Dimka coup.
Okay.
The Dimka coup.
Okay.
You were still active then.
Yes.
What happened?
We have to go back a little. I didn't like to be transferred to Lagos because I just didn't like traffic. But I think I was senior enough after Muritala's coup against Gawan. So I was commander at Abeokuta Depot. And there was a coup led by Muritala. I was one of those you will call Gawan boys. I didn't want that coup. I wanted to mobilize the troops at Depot. And I knew what to do. I will surround Lagos. Muritala himself
I'll
sent
switch to
Buhari
PDP news.
to come and tell me